happy? Yeah, what's up with it? Happy? Yeah, what's up with it?
heavy.
Yeah, what's up with it?
Heavy.
Yeah, what's up with it? jet with it.
Steppy.
Yeah, what's up with it?
Good evening, listeners, one and all. Welcome back to the Ascent Grand Finals of Season 4, hosted by Amateur Oceanic Esports, sponsored by My Republic Gamer. If you're just joining us, I'm Peronius. Back with me, as always, is Temporal, and we are here to give you our next Grand Final in our weekend of Grand Final. Isn't that right, Temporal?
Indeed, it is Division 5. We'll see Avoidingweirdchamps taking on Swinburne Black. Avoidingweirdchamps so far, they've been cleverly avoiding being broadcast, but now they're going to have their chance in the spotlight against a team that we saw play last week, and they went out with a bang last week. They took down Interstellar, a team that had already beaten them in the tournament in the regular season. So Swinburne Black looking to do the same thing again this week, because Avoidingweirdchamps were the top team in the group. They only lost to one match, and it wasn't to Swinburne Black.
Yeah, but Swinburne Black, they, as you say, they put in a great performance last week, showing their stuff, upsetting things last time, and they'll be looking to do the same tonight. So we are looking towards, by all rights, a much closer matchup than our previous one between Orion Tricks and Constellation IO. If you are just joining us, Orion Tricks were able to get a clean 4-0 sweep and make their way across the line as our Division 6 Grand Final winners. Now we have the Division 5 matchup, and from everything we've seen from Division 5, this is bound to be a close one, so strap yourselves in. We should be going for the long haul now.
So if you've got your coffee on the go, start drinking it now. You're going to need it. And this division, just by the records from the regular season and even in the playoffs, looks like it may well be the closest division in the entire tournament. We had three teams really vying for those top two spots, all very similar results. Avoidingweirdchamps, Swinburne Black, and Interstellar all played each other during the regular season to 3-2. We saw Swinburne Black, Interstellar again 3-2 last week. So I wouldn't be surprised if, we did get to that seventh map. Maybe there might be a draw in there somewhere. We could even go to 8 maps. Hell, we could run this broadcast into tomorrow.
We could, but to some extent, I kind of hope we don't, because we still have so much more to look forward to tomorrow evening as well. We will be from 7 p.m. bringing you our Division 2 and then Division 1 Grand Finals as well. So hopefully we can get a conclusion to this one. We don't have unlimited overtime forever, and we have a chance to come in tomorrow fresh and refreshed to bring you some more exciting matches as well.
Before we get into the match itself, let's introduce the teams avoiding Weird Champs. Your number 1 rank in Division 5 coming into this match features Zildjian, Udon, Sergeant, Intrinsic, Smashed Crab, and Alco.
Absolutely. And what in particular can we get from this team? It's not one we've seen on stream before, so not something we know off by heart. But from what we know about them, we do know they are a relatively new team. In fact, many of the players on this team are fairly new to Overwatch as a game as well, from the looks of it. So not even a new team, not even the first time in the competitive scene, but a lot of them, this is their first sort of season in Overwatch itself. So a lot of them probably a bit more experienced than other shooters, I'd imagine, for them to be doing this well out the gate. Definitely an interesting story there.
I sure hope so, but Swinburne at least has a little bit more information than perhaps the viewers do, given that they have played before. As I said before, they played it to a 2-3, where Swinburne ended up going down then, but it showed they were already so close to this team that they just need a little more improvement. And if you can play around players like, I've realized we haven't introduced Swinburne yet, so we'll do that. Swinburne is represented by Filezek, RD Polarity, Atticus, Subred, Coronet, and Dimple Whisker. The lineup is unchanged from last week. And the players I'm looking at on this team are those first 2 I listed out. RD Polarity started out last week's match with a barrage in under 20 seconds, which is almost unheard of on any map, let alone doing it on Nepal Village. And leading the charge for Swinburne, pun kind of intended again, was Filezek on the Reinhardt, was doing an absolutely blistering job going toe-to-toe with Interstellar's Reinhardt, Derbychar. They were both building up their ultimates at a relatively similar pace, but Filezek was just getting in there earlier, and they're making more of an impact with their ultimates. So those are my 2 players to watch for Swinburne.
Absolutely. It's an interesting narrative here as well, because Swinburne Black, it's a uni roster, but a lot of these players are veterans of the scene, so very different story to the relatively new players to Overwatch that we're seeing from their opponents in Avoiding Weird Champs. So it is a very interesting matchup between these two to have that sort of discrepancy in sort of playtime and experience. But the Swinburne Black players, technically the underdogs in this story, but they've got a lot of experience on that team and a lot of very dangerous players.
That they do. I'll be interested to see how they take on Avoiding Weird Champs, whether we see some similar compositions that they came out to last week. They played a wide array of heroes between them. We saw Filezek on all 3 main tanks, assuming you don't count Wrecking Ball as a main tank, which some people do. We saw RD Polarity flexing back and forth, mainly on the Pharah, but doing a great job on other heroes such as the McCree, the Genji, the Doomfist, the Echo. There was just so many different variations. So I'll be curious to see whether they've got some special plans for what Avoiding Weird Champs throws at them. And then consequently, sorry, it's not the right word, but Avoiding Weird Champs, can they deal with that flexibility that Swinburne can throw at them? Given that a lot of these maps, they play differently, even different sections of the maps play very differently. So you need to be on top of your game.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see if Avoiding Weird Champs have studied the match from last week. And they do have, in theory, the slight advantage of having that broadcast available. It would certainly give them a heads up about RD Polarity on Pharah. And the question becomes, will they be coming out of the gate map 1, round 1, with some anti-Pharah positions, units in play, all ready to make sure that they can try and neutralize that threat? But the thing is, and we saw it last week as well, if you commit too many resources into trying to shut down the Pharah, Swinburne Black, they're not just a team getting carried by one player. And the moment all of those resources are getting chewed up for one player, it just gives space for the rest of the players to then take advantage of the fact that the rest of the enemy team is just not paying attention to them.
Yeah, Coronet is someone you cannot go past. Essentially delivered Anubis to Swinburne Black last week. It delivered the first capture of point A to Swinburne Black. The fight was all but over for them, but was able to pick up 2 players on the Sombra, and that is what broke the point wide open for them. So you got to be very wary. I particularly also enjoyed Subred on the Zarya quite a bit, but so highly charged most of the time, pumping out a whole heap of damage. Any one of these Swinburne players is a threat, so avoiding weird champs, they're going to have to be on top of their game if they want to come away with the W and take their share of the prize.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate as well, this match is a best of 7, so it is going to be pushing these players to the limit. We'll be starting, as always, on the poll, and thereafter it will be the loser of the previous map getting the pick from our map pool. There are no changes to the map pool. For the finals, it's exactly the same pool. It just means as we get to the tail end of things, there will be less maps available based on the ones that have already been chosen. And we will be, as always, starting on the poll. And in keeping with tonight, at least, we'll be starting over on Shrine again.
I'll be curious to see whether that translates over to tomorrow night. Shrine is our opening grand final map. But for the moment, Avoiding Weird Champs will be on your left of screen. Swinburne Black will be on your right as they roll out of the spawn room on their initial compositions.
Absolutely, and perhaps unsurprisingly, we will be seeing RD Polarity locking in the Pharah. Definitely a strong pick on this stage, especially if you can get that early point control. I'm curious if Smash Crab will be coming out on the Genji, because it's not a common pick in the moment. Genji definitely struggles a bit. You will have the support from the Nano Boost available, so it looks like that will be the plan. I'm interested to see if it goes underway like that. Other than that, Ryan Zaya on both teams, and we will be seeing Ashes on both teams as well. She's very strong at the moment.
Their Polarity already at the point, plugging away with that rocket launcher, putting the damage up, getting towards that barrage. Not going to be quite as quick as last week. Perhaps Udon already spotting out the Pharah, but under pressure, forced to back off and gets the better of RD Polarity. That's a nice start. Atticus drops down the Resurrection available, but it's given up so much position that Avoiding Weird Champs are going to start off with the first capture.
Absolutely, they've managed to push forwards. I really like the tank play in that. Intrinsic was very aggressive, but played the corner well in order to be able to take the foot off the accelerator, so to speak, and be able to take a moment to recover things without having to hide behind the shield to do so, which really goes a long way for increasing your ability to sustain in the fight. And all of that space they're able to claim gets absolutely taken in by the team. Now they're getting close to the Nano Blade that they're looking to set up here, which, that's a great biotic grenade to open things as well. You do really have to worry about a biotic combo with a Genji on the field.
Sergeant already investing the Valkyrie to keep everyone alive. Smash Crab and Zildjian, the Nano Blade almost online for those two. We'll see if that's needs to be invested in this fight. As Polarity goes very low, and a great bio grenade onto the fire, keeping them out of the fight. Intrinsic and Udon open up. The Nano Blade invested, but Smash Crab didn't even need it. It's just for show. Avoiding Weird Champs build up to 50%.
Yeah, they've managed to win that one, but at 3 ultimates, it was not the cheapest fight in the world, especially with nothing coming out of Swinburne Black. So this is going to be the opportunity for them to turn it around here. They've got a lot of ultimates coming online here, only Subred sort of lagging behind there. It's going to come down on initiation. Alco could still end this fight before it starts with a grab.
The grab is invested. Reinhardt's caught up in that. Intrinsic trying to build up towards another Earthshatter, swinging the hammer away, but Dimple and Coronet doing what they had to do, picking up 2 kills to open up the fight. There's a Resurrection on the point. Zildjian brought back in, as is Coronet. But right now, Avoiding Weird Champs still in control of the point. Swinburne Black making their presence felt, but it's not going to be quick enough. The kills are falling. Graviton Surge is invested. Subred trying to turn it around, but they lose Atticus in the meantime. Still an all-out brawl on the point, but that Moira from Dimple Whisker may make the difference. So Sergeant back in the fight. The barrage over the top gets denied. Udon, you beast! Intrinsic following up with an Earthshatter, blocks Filezek's own Earthshatter. Overtime has been triggered. A Nano Boost invested onto the Reinhardt. We'll see Filezek out of the fight. Just this Dragular's left for Swinburne Black. Shrine going the way of Avoiding Weird Champs.
Yeah, good performance all around from Avoiding Weird Champs, and I suppose the scoreline reflects that at 100-0. It really was going to be down to getting that early execution, and that's what they did. They dropped the grav on there, caught enough of the members of Swinburne Black that even though Swinburne Black were able to put up a good fight, especially once they invested in resources, it wasn't enough. And in the end, the fight dragged on long enough for the tank line to get back from Avoiding Weird Champs. Once that happened and they had tank superiority on the point with enough resources to pump healing into them, it's very hard to play back from that point if you don't have parity there. And so sure enough, Avoiding Weird Champs able to close it out. There was definitely some opportunities to turn it around, but they just never quite came through.
We'll see if they're able to make a better impression on Shrine as Fileseg moves on to the Orisa. The polarity on the Torbjorn, they played this last week, and it worked out quite well for them. They did take Nepal 2-0. I believe Shrine was the second map out. It went 99 to 100 in Swinburne Black's favour, and that's a great start. Atticus and Fileseg falling down. Sorry, Atticus and Fileseg picking up kills. Coronet taking Zildjian out. Avoiding Weird Champs going to have to back off.
Yeah, they're going to try and get out of there, but they lose Intrinsic on the exit as well. Yet more ult charge going over to the members of Swinburne Black, and this is the sort of lead you want coming into this one, because that point, such a nightmare to get. We've seen this over and over on this map, people holding those back angles with these long-range heroes, and it's just oppressive to try and even get there. It's one thing that the members of Avoiding Weird Champ do have in their favour is they've got the Reinhardt, so they can just go for an aggressive play onto the team, but we see this rotation in response. It's a good bio grenade, though.
The counter-rotation from Swinburne, they've set up on the Avoiding Weird Champ side of the map. They allow Avoiding to move on to the point, but Intrinsic goes down at the start of the fight. It's going to be very difficult for them to survive in this room. Sergeant uses the cover of the wall to use the resurrection, but the Hawk bringing them right back into Coronet's line of sight. Mercy down, smash grab. Okay, not quite content to let this fight die. Swings through two. Udon chiming in with a couple of kills of their own. Fileseg get time back, but that nano boost again, proving the decisive factor. Asilchan takes a dive off the side, quickly followed by Fileseg.
And that is just a great comeback there. They were in a nasty position losing Intrinsic early in that fight. They get the res through there, and then Smash Crab just gets the nano without the blade and manages to cut a hole through the members of Swinburne Black. They steal the point away, and I think Swinburne Black's still going to be wondering just how that happened.
Very surprising indeed for them, though they come into this fight with a fair bit to work with. The multi-core out from RD Polarity. There's the Dragon Blade from Smash Crab, slicing and dicing, but right into the Transcendence of Atticus, doing a great job keeping their members alive, and the Molten Core proving too much for Udon's Bob, as well as Alco and Bob on Coronet's side getting in, removing the Genji. Swinburne Black going to flip the point back rather quickly.
Yeah, some people like their udon fairly raw, but Swinburne Black definitely like it incredibly well cooked here. Melvin Core doing so much work there. It's normally just a bit of an area denial ult, but once you add in a few other CC tools, suddenly so much damage being delivered there. And now they got a great position on this point. Intrinsic does have the Shadow though. Some big ultimates coming online, and Udon's actually swapped over to the Mei, so they want to turn this into a short range fight.
Oh no, but Udon's removed straight away. The kills coming through. Coronet is a beast, picking up 3, picking up the 4th Sergeant. Not long for this. Well, Swinburne Black, they build up to 75%. They're in a great position to take out the point and level us up here on the pole.
That they do. There's going to be one more chance to try and offset this point, and they're going to have both big tank ults online for it. Intrinsic and Elko should both be ulting in this fight, but they're really the only ones that are going to be available there, and they're playing into a supercharger. Not the easiest position. Plus, they need to get someone on the point fairly quickly.
Plus, a Smash Crab firing away. Intrinsic on the outside with the Earthshatter, not quite sitting with the rest of their team. Subspread a little bit isolated, forced back. Polarity finishing off Udon. The Mei going down at the start of the fight again. Falls goes down, Supercharger was used. Trades going back and forth. Polarity might be bringing this back with Coronet's assistance. The point flipped to Swinburne. 99% overtime, burning down. No one from Avoiding Weird Champs going to be able to make it back. That will be the end. Subred takes a deliberate dive off the side. Swinburne Black back in this map.
Absolutely, and what a great performance from them there. The first map may have seemed one-sided against them, but this one looked almost the same in their favor. They were in absolute control of the point. Even the times that they weren't, ultimately, everything was still well in hand, and Swinburne Black very quickly managing to take it back each time they lost it. Now we're heading over to Village. RD Polarity is again going to be able to take to the skies. And this is where we saw that 20-second barrage before. We'll see if that can be matched again tonight.
I'd be very worried if I was Avoiding Weird Champs right now. They got lucky, didn't see this map in either of the first two, but this is Polarity's playground. Atticus will be in support on the Mercy, so Smashed Crab feels that it's up to them to take the challenge right to Polarity on the fire of their own. The Rockets firing in. Polarity finishing one up already with Smash Crab, proving that even better Pharaoh right now has 2 kills. Polarity, forced to back away. The Resurrection invested means there's a full 6 members available. No, they lose. They lose Zildjian in the process. But Avoiding Weird Champs still with the numbers advantage.
Yeah, Avoiding Weird Champs looking pretty good here. Unfortunately for the members of... Well, they've got numbers advantage, but they've lost their main tank. Their main tank's still on the way back, so that is an opening there. We will get the early point cap, though, and that's going to buy time for this main tank to come swinging back in there. Dimple Whisker already down.
Intrinsic swings away, removes Dimple, who's immediately resurrected back into the fight. Swinburne, now they have the numbers advantage as they cap the point. And with Polarity soaring through the air, it's going to be very difficult for Avoiding Weird Champs to retake.
And Atticus really putting in a great performance on this Mercy. We saw it last week as well. Anytime Peel was needed, Atticus was there. We're seeing it again now as well. They've managed to stay up the whole time, keep the team going. As I say that, Polarity talked out of the sky, but the res should be there fairly quickly.
No, maybe too much pressure for the Resurrection. Yeah, the Valkyrie invested by Atticus, seeing if they can make a difference, but Polarity has respawned the barrage over the top. Smash Crab invests it right into the shield, but you know what? The damage is done. They've got the numbers they need. The Swinburne Black still holding on to the point for the moment. They're not willing to give it up without a fight. They're getting all the percentage they can. It's finally flipped over, though. 35% to 19%.
Yeah, not a bad start there. I mean, you definitely, especially considering you managed to get the Valkyrie out of Atticus, it's a pretty cheap fight win here for Avoiding Weird Champ. Got to be happy with that one. They're getting towards another Pulse Bomb as well on Udon, so... Ooh, there's a Grav invested.
And the Polarity comes in with the barrage over the top, picks up 1. Smash Crab gets 1 back, gets 2 back. Polarity out of the fight, but the damage is done. It's all Swinburne Black in the kill feed. The Resurrection bringing Polarity back will mean they're able to move on to the point, retake control.
It's a very quick points flips happening here. I guess that's what a Grav will do for you, and a Grav is what the members of Swinburne Black will need to worry about. Alco getting very close to their own as well. And we could be seeing maybe a Grav Pulse Bomb because Smash Crab's not quite there with the barrage yet. Definitely have to worry about grouping us too much.
Crab, goes low. The healing is there. The Earth Shatter invested by Filezek lays down 2. The follow-up is there, courtesy of the Fire Strike. Polarity finding the enemy Farah in the air as well as Alco. And oh no, Sergeant, you're not getting away that easily. Swinburne Black holding on as they build up to 70%.
70%, which means we're basically heading into 2 fights, maybe 1. Yeah, in fact, there's really only going to be 1 more fight here for Avoiding Weird Champs if they don't cap the point here, so a lot of pressure on them here. The Smash Crab's actually swapped over to the Echo just to try and provide more pressure in the sky, but that does mean that's not an ultimate they're going to be seeing online.
Hold on, I was going to say there's a Tracer duel going on the ground, but Smash Crab putting pay to that Coronet out of the fight. Though the support line is entirely gone from Avoiding Weird Champs. Swinburne is in control right now. They just need to make sure they're doing a little bit more damage. Trades have gone back and forth, but without any healing, it's going to be very difficult for Avoiding Weird Champs to contest. And with that, Swinburne Black clear up Nepal. They take their early lead in this series.
And good performance all around from both of these teams. That run felt like it was almost a little too back and forth there on Village. It felt like it was way too early to be ending now, with especially how dynamic the others were. But again, these fights were just over from a couple of early picks, and everyone was resetting really quickly, really efficiently, which is good to see. But I'm not satisfied. I'm hungry for more. I need to see more of these teams going at it, because this is such a close matchup.
You are going to get your wish if the scores on Nepal were any indication. I don't see this match going any shorter than 6 maps minimum right now. We'll see where Avoiding Weird Champs choose to take us, whether it will be Kings Row or it will be another hybrid map that may or may not be in the map pool, but we will never know, because Kings Row always comes up, and Kings Row again has been selected.
Well, I mean, that's not always true. We did have at least 1 week there, if not a couple of weeks, where we saw a lot of Eichenwalds. So.
Oh, you're right. We did see an Eichenwald back in week 5.
Yeah, we've had
4. Okay.
Yeah, we had a couple of Eichenwalds from memory. I think there was a bit of time in there. It hasn't all been Kings Row all the time. I don't think we've seen much in the way of Numbani. I think we maybe went there once or twice early on in the season,
In week 2, we went to Numbani. Yeah. Actually, both the matches in week 2 went to Numbani. It was quite odd.
Yeah.
But if you know what, if we go far enough in this match, we will see Numbani or Eichenwald come out, because if we get round to the 6th map, it will have to be hybrid again, and Kings Row cannot be selected twice. And teams, you can't play funny buggers and say, oh, we'll pick the Christmas version of Kings Row. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to go to a different country.
Absolutely. But for now, it will be Scrims Row, tried and true, the map that everyone knows oh so well. We'll see if anything surprising is coming out from either of these teams as we make our way through. It will again be the members of Avoiding Weird Champ on the defense first, and that means that they'll be looking to put up a hold here. They are coming out with the Reinhardt Zaya, so they're not going for any sort of high ground Orisa strategies. Just the old tried and true main tank line there. And again, Smash Crowd on the Genji. It's definitely working for him, but it's still just an unusual pick. I'm glad to see that it's working for him, though. Meanwhile, RD Polarity on the Reaper by the looks of it, and we saw some great things with Reaper on Kings Row just in our last series, so nothing surprising there.
No, there's not. And Smash Crab has shown that they don't need a nano boost on the Dragon Blade to get the job done. They can get the Dragon Blade or the nano boost at different times and still make things happen. As Swinburne Black, they come in, they run straight at the statue, then they think, you know what? We're going to sit here for a moment, just making a little space for themselves. They run straight onto the... Oh, what a blow! Hits for Atticus, the first to fall. Filezek not far behind Zildjian, making use of that lack of healing. Clean up the front line of Swinburne Black, who are forced back to spawn. Only 30 seconds left. Taken off the clock.
Yeah, and a big bio like that, getting so many people low, can be so dangerous when you've got a Genji on the field, because think of all the dash resets. Honestly, Smash Crab probably could have gone even more aggressive there and gotten away with it, but...
they were aggressive enough?
Yeah, I mean, they were aggressive enough. Yeah, the fight was won. They're very close to the blade. And just between the Biotic Grenade, the Dynamite, and those dash resets, it's a very dangerous combo.
So many options coming online for Avoiding Weird Champs. Smash Crab, the first kill of the fight, is just a straight-up shuriken kill onto Coronet. The Coalescence invested by Dimple to no avail, going to wear off. Swinburne Black, they're not choosing to make their way back in just yet. They wait to out the Valkyrie from Sergeant.
Yeah, they're going to be looking for an opening into this fight. They want Coronet to pick something up. They want to get something big there, but here comes the
Ultimate Ahoy come out. The Dragon Blade invested on top of the Graviton Surge. A sound barrier from Atticus doing what it can to keep everyone in, but it's not enough. Smash Crab going to slice through the opposition, keeping Swinburne Black hemmed into their side of the map. So far, 2 minutes burnt off the clock, Pironius, and no progress made whatsoever.
Yeah, no progress made, but so many ultimates committed into that fight by avoiding weird champs means that now is going to be Swinburne Black's best opportunity to break through.
There's their shadow falls. Their cops a beating in revenge, not able to follow up on anything done there. Bob now invested by Coronet, plugging away, and that's going to be the go signal. Swinburne Black march in. They've been dynamited, they've been bio-grenaded, but they're okay with that. They're on the point with the numbers.
Yeah, with the numbers and still with the ult economy, this is a great position for them to be in here. Oh, Party Polarity getting caught in the streets, but Intrinsic gets traded back immediately. So this is still looking really good for Swinburne Black, who's going to come into the street phase with a lot of momentum and a lot of ultimates in the bank here. They've got a real opportunity to really push.
Yeah, only a couple of ultimates really need to be invested. Those Smashed Crab getting close, inching ever closer to that Dragon Blade. Udon not far behind with the Nano Boost. I'll be interested to see if they're able to put that to work, particularly given they're only facing a Coalescence from Swinburne Black defensively.
Yeah, I think if you see the Dragon Blade come out, it might be worth just grabbing him to try and stop him from shredding through your team.
Oh, Polarity teleporting into the backline, looking for a place to use. The death at the top of the Graviton Surge. It's sweeping through, avoiding Weird Champs. Swinburne Black not stopping for anything.
Yeah, and they actually invested the Nano there onto the Zaya as well. That's why Alco was able to stay alive for so long, but in the end, the investment does not pay out, and now Smash Crab is going to have to ult without any support here. It's a very dangerous position to be in if you are a Genji, because everyone's immediately going to try and focus you with everything they can. There is CC on the field he needs to worry about.
Falzek up front with that big shield in play, has an Urshatter ready and waiting to go. Lays it down, doesn't quite get any value out of it. Coalescence from Dimple Whisker right into the Graviton Surge of Alco, keeping everyone alive. The Dragon Blade invested by Smash Crab, but forced back, has to use the deflect just to get away, and it's not enough. Subreck going to finish that one off. The tank line of Swinburne Black doing the business, pushing the cart across the line. 3 minutes 50 in the time bank for this point C push.
Yeah, they're looking really good here, Swinburne Black are. It was a little rough at the opening, but the moment avoiding Weird Champs overplayed their hand, Swinburne Black has overwhelmingly been in control here. Now they're coming into another neutral fight stage. They've still got Atticus having the sound barrier in reserve as well, but there's not really any fight-winning ultimates likely to come online for avoiding Weird Champs for a bit. They're going to need to get some picks, try and stop this defense, maybe make a play, but it's just so difficult at the moment with how well Swinburne Black have been playing this.
Smash Crab dives in, looks for those dash kills. Bob on the field, Urshatter invested, and a Valkyrie. That's going to be the cleanup there for avoiding Weird Champs. They make quick work of the attack, and finally the cart is stopped.
I'm actually really curious on that one, if that was planned or that was just Intrinsic reacting to a good situation. Because Bob managed to launch Vilzek up in the air, that's the shield gone, you lay down the shadow, you take the whole team to town. Really nice 1-2 play there. It's not always the easiest thing to prepare for, because you can't always rely on Bob hitting the person you want him to hit.
Oh, Smash Crab went down just before the Dragon Blade was built up. That's the signal for Subred to invest the Graviton Surge, trapping the entire tank line of avoiding Weird Champs. They'll be cleaned up, they're forced back to spawn, but they retreat and hold on to the remaining numbers. Oh no! Death Blossom comes out from Polarity, catches two! Oh, that good retreat is all for naught. The cart marching its way home. Nano Blade over the top. Smash Crab slicing and dicing. That's forcing enough back. Intrinsic charges Atticus out of the fight. The Dragon Blade finishes with two direct kills. Smash Crab finishing off Coronet late in the fight. And the hold from avoiding Weird Champs is there in a nick of time.
Yeah, that Nano Blade play absolutely coming in just in time to be able to retake the payload. They managed to hold it up less than 5 meters from the line. And there's still a lot of pressure being applied to Filzek as well that's slowing down the next incoming. Early kill in the Coronet is a great position to be in to buy some more time off the clock here. This is avoiding Weird Champs finally getting things back under control. They've got Bob, they've got a Grav online as well. They've got a lot of ultimates about to come online. It may actually be hard for Swinburne Black to get this one across the line. As I say that, Smash Crab goes down early. That's an opening.
And there are Shadow invested by both Reinhardt, but Intrinsic is burnt down immediately. Filzek combining with Dimple Whisker's Coalescence to eliminate that enemy from the fight. Nice fire grenade, hits a couple of members of Swinburne Black, but they're marching forward into it. So Sergeant has the Valkyrie, just a stopgap measure, trying to keep those members alive. Oh, come up with Alco burned down. Intrinsic back out on the Wrecking Ball, knocks Falzek off the side, and the reinforcements from Avoiding Weird Champs are there. Oh my word, the great fire grenade from Udon finishing off Polarity, and that again is going to see Avoiding Weird Champs with a clutch hold.
Yeah, Intrinsic absolutely putting in the work there, knocking both the main tank and the off tank of Swinburne Black down into the pit on that Wrecking Ball, absolutely swinging the fight back in that swing there. Now we're down to the last 30 seconds, and an early kill on Atticus is not good news for the members of Swinburne Black.
Oh, Intrinsic has the proximity mines, gets charged, just able to get away, hold on to that big space eliminating ultimate. Polarity teleports into where Intrinsic is, but the Wrecking Ball going to get away. There's plenty of options for Avoiding Weird Champs coming into this fight. They have the Nanoblade, they have the bomb. Zildjian invests it straight away, gets cut down, but Smash Crab's Dragon Blade swings through over the top. Coronet's own bomb takes Alco out of the fight. Udon down, so it's an even trade for both teams that might just favour the defensive side, seeing it as their respawns will get back oh so fast. The Subred doing a great job melting it down to the Zarya, highly charged, eliminating, my god, to eliminate Sergeant. Falzek back in the fight, Zildjian gone. The dead boss from RD Polarity doesn't get any direct kills, but it clears enough space for the cart to be pushed home. Swinburne Black finishing off the map, putting the pressure back onto Avoiding Weird Champs.
Yeah, I mean, they got it across the line in the end, but given the amount of time and momentum they came into that third stage with, an incredible defense from Avoiding Weird Champs to really stop up that momentum, it could really come back to bite Swinburne Black in the end. There were a couple of opportunities there where they could have finished with time in the bank, and just by the skin of their teeth weren't able to do so. So, I mean, at this point, you've got to be feeling pretty confident if you're a member of Avoiding Weird Champ. And now there's going to be a lot of pressure on Swinburne Black to try and stop this one up, try and prevent them getting any sort of completion.
Any sort of completion or a completion with over a minute remaining on the clock would likely see Avoiding Weird Champs take out the map. So Swinburne Black there, you know what, they might be just playing for time. Who knows? We'll see. You know, I shouldn't say that right now. They're playing to full hold A. I mean, you don't want to give away any percentage at all. So Avoiding Weird Champs, we'll see what they choose to come out with. Smash Crab, we talked about it briefly before. Not a common pick, but doing vital work on that Genji, slicing and dicing their way through with the Dragon Blade, and that's cleared up a lot of space for Avoiding Weird Champs to get things done.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about being really good at an off-meta hero, especially one as dynamic as Genji, is people aren't in the habit of having to deal with Genjis anymore. There was a time where everyone used to know how to deal with a Genji because he was such a high pick rate hero, and that hasn't been the case for over a year now. He's got some annoying tricks in there. When you're really good on an off-meta hero, it can really force your opponent into an awkward position, and to an extent, that's what we're seeing tonight.
Speaking of awkward positions, Swinburne Black forced behind the Alderworth Hotel, both tanks suffering from a bio grenade, but as soon as it wears off, they march onto the point. Coronet dealing with both the DPS players. They throw back this initial attack from Avoiding Weird Champs.
It's a good start, but there's a lot more of them going on. Oh, late kill onto Coronet. This is going to be really rough for the members of Swinburne Black. Going to see immediately the accelerator being pushed to the floor from the members of Avoiding Weird Champs.
The tank's pushing straight up on the point. Intrinsic swinging that hammer, trying to get that Earthshatter online. Falzek feels the full force of it. Zildjian pops some rockets over the top, clearing up to. That will be all said and done for this point A attack for Avoiding Weird Champ.
Yeah, Intrinsic invested the shatter there, just trying to get the cleanup kills, and in the end, isn't actually able to get the follow-through on them, so I think he's going to want that one back. I mean, it's a fairly fast ultimate to build, especially on the narrow streets of King's Row, but even so, you can't be happy with that one, and we'll see how this goes. We now see Falzek getting very aggressive, but there's the grab.
Oh, and combined with the bio grenade, it's so difficult to get anything done to Swinburne Black. They're forced to give up in almost the entirety of Street's phase. This cart is going to make so much progress that they really need to stop it here. Otherwise, they're going to be looking down the barrel of a massive third-point time back.
Yeah, it still could be dangerous, but there's going to be opportunities. Falzek's getting the Shadow online. Subred's not too far beyond as well. RD Polarity, he's got the Deadeye in hold. We've seen some amazing Deadeyes recently. Maybe RD Polarity looking to take a leaf out from that book.
Balzac cops another buy grenade at the start of the fight. Udon is doing such a fantastic job with these grenades. It's stopping a lot of impact coming through from the front line. Balzac throws on the cut. It's huge. It drops 3 to the ground, but Smash Crab taking out the Reinhardt as he followed up to try and follow up on his own Earth Shatter. Udon removing Dimple Whisker. This fight might just be over again for Swinburne Black. The cart pushing its way forward to the second point. A Graviton Surge invested, but a barrage over the top will be denied. RD Polarity using the Deadeye to remove Zildjian from the fight. But it's too little, too late. The kill's all there for Avoiding Weird Champs. The resurrection onto the Farah. We'll see her back into the fight as Intrinsic takes Falzek off the side.
Yeah, and that one actually really hurt for Swinburne Black. They had a lot of ultimates. They did not invest them wisely, though. In the end, they don't even win the fight. Look at the ultimate economy now. There's going to be a Dragon Blade, probably a Valkyrie Dragon Blade. Intrinsic's also got another Shatter, and Alco's Grav is building rapidly as well. And what do they have against all of that? They have but a lone Coalescence. It's a rough position to be in.
Here comes the the Dragon Blade. Unprotected by the Nano Boost of Smash Crab, doesn't need it, removes 2 from the fight, goes down for the efforts, as does Sergeant, but Intrinsic is there swinging away with the hammer, clearing up the remnants of the Swinburne Black defense. The cart pushing its way home. It's only got about 10 meters left. Swinburne Black needs to get out there and fast. You see Falzek back out, but slept immediately, runs to Graviton on top just for good measure. Subred out on the Wrecking Ball, runs into that Graviton. Alco cleaning 2 kills up there. Intrinsic swinging away with the hammer, putting up towards another Earth Shatter, but they're not even going to really need it. 0.53 meters left on the clock as Avoiding Weird Champs push home 4 minutes on the clock. Swinburne Black pretty much out of this map right now.
Yeah, it's not a great position to be in, and it all came apart for Swinburne Black there. They had a couple of fights where they should have been able to use ultimate advantage to good measure, and they weren't able to. They just ended up blowing a whole bunch of ultimates and handing it over to Avoiding Weird Champs on a silver platter. It's the importance of managing that ult economy, making sure that you don't overcommit into lost fights, that you don't overcommit into one fights, but especially into fights you end up losing. And in the end, we see them giving up all of the potential momentum right before that third stage of the map, and Avoiding Weird Champs are able to have a leisurely stroll to the victory line through what is normally the hardest part of the map to push through.
Well, a leisurely stroll is what they're going to have for this attack on point. 4 minutes, more time than they started with, just to capture 33% of the point. Swinburne Black going to have to pull out all the stops if they want to salvage a draw and keep themselves ahead in this series.
Absolutely. RD Polarity on the Tourbillon is definitely an unexpected pick here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough in the long run. The turret is seen almost immediately. I mean, a good turret placement can provide a lot of pressure onto a Genji, especially if you get it in something of an annoying off angle there. It can really deny a lot of space to that hero. But
Alco on the Winston, the flanking Winston.
Yeah.
No need for a diva here. We got a flanking scientist from the moon. They're making waves on the point already. As Zildjian removed from the fight, immediately brought back, but the kills going the way of the defense. Swinburne Black holding strong for the moment. Coronet leading the way with 2 kills. That will be the first attack of many repulsed by Swinburne Black.
And I like that. The moment Sergeant has to commit to the res, that's when you see Coronet pop out and start popping heads. That's the moment where they know the healing resources are not available. And that's what you do need to capitalize on here. So they managed to buy pretty much a minute off the clock here, but there's still a lot of time left here and not a lot of ground to give up. They need to keep up on these fights, but an early picks here, this is looking pretty good.
It is. They're forced back, but they don't give up any progress. And they don't invest any ultimates of their own, which is a good thing because Avoiding Weird Champs is putting up to some phenomenal ultimates of their own.
Yeah, we do see Smash Crab swapping over to the Ash. They're just not getting the space on the Genji. That turret is just making things a little too difficult, a little too dangerous to step out. So I like the adaptation coming through. It does mean that RD Polarity now is going to struggle to get value in these fights, but not if Coronet keeps playing like that.
No, what a dynamite. Udon looking, Steve, the Nano Boost maybe want to miss on the Intrinsic as Sergeant pops out with the Valkyrie.
Ooh.
There's actually no Intrinsic denied. Subred finishing off the Earth Shatter. Reinhardt mid Earth Shatter. Alco down courtesy of a charge from Falzek, and Sergeant forced to fall back with their tail between their legs as the Valkyrie wears off.
And that is looking pretty good here now. Intrinsic losing that shatter is absolutely huge. Alco has really been struggling to build up any sort of charge here because the fights have been over so quickly. Very hard to get that Grav online. Meanwhile, Subred's got a Grav. Falzek can potentially build another shatter off the Grav too. So this is looking...
Dynamite. Nanoboost invested onto Intrinsic, but they run straight into the Molten Core Graviton Surge combination. Falzek cleaning up that fight with 3 kills, building their way up to another Earth Shatter, as Swinburne Black in a really strong position right now.
Yeah, I almost wish they hadn't pulled out the Molten Core there just to give Falzek a chance to build up more ult charge. In the end, though, at 70%, it's probably as much as he's going to need. You're actually going to have a pause in here now, but a minute 17 on the clock, this is starting to get dangerous for Avoiding Weird Champs. This is actually not a comfortable position. Like, considering the amount of time bank they've come into this, Swinburne Black playing this really well. They've still got some tools for this next fight, but this next fight is the dangerous one for them. They're only going to have Bob and a rally, which means this is at their weakest point in the ult rotation. The good news for them, though, Avoiding Weird Champs, they don't have any ultimates online for this fight at the moment, and the one most likely to be online is a Bob of their own. Definitely a powerful ultimate in his own right, but not one that can shape a fight in the way the Shadow or a Grav can. So this next fight is going to be absolutely crucial. And again, if Avoiding Weird Champs get a first pick in any of these fights, it's going to be almost impossible for Swinburne Black to fight back from that one. So the fact that they've been managing to get the early advantages in these fights and then capitalize on it has been absolutely important for them so far.
Indeed, all eyes will be on Dimple Whisker. Can the Brigitte stay alive and get the rally off? That'll be the key ultimate in this battle. And given that, yeah, Atticus won't be far behind with the Coalescence, but not necessarily the same survivability that the massive armor that the Brigitte ult provides. I'm looking a little further ahead for Avoiding Weird Champs. If they do lose this fight without investing any ultimates, and they do get 1 or 2 ultimates out of Swinburne Black, looks like the shoe may be on the other foot, but we'll get right to that as the pause wears off. We are back underway. Avoiding Weird Champs baiting through the Alderworth Hotel. Looks like a couple of members will go through.
Oh, big bio grenade.
Yeah. Onto 4 members. Atticus burned down. The fire strike is good. It forces the ultimates to be invested by Swinburne. But Dimple Whisker goes down as soon as the rally is popped. Smash Crabs. Bob is now on the field. And Earthshatter from Falzek trying to turn back the tide, but they're not able to follow it up. Coronet's Bob doing what he can, but in the end, Avoiding Weird Champs take the 33% that they need. They level us up in this series at 1 map apiece.
And a heroic defense coming out from Swinburne Black, who played that so well, but in the end, it wasn't an ultimate, but a bio grenade that wins the match. Another incredible one coming through from Udon, who's been playing so well this evening. And I said that bio grenades are absolutely devastating.
And what's really impressive is that Zildjian and Udon have swapped roles. Zildjian was the Ana on the pole, and Udon was playing DPS roles, Ash, May, etc. But they've turned it around now. They're playing the Ana. Unless, of course, my mind has gone...
No,
Ana the whole time.
You're right. No, I do remember Zildjian on Ana on the pole, so 100% correct.
So a really good swap from that team, identifying that maybe it wasn't working the way it was, and you've got these players that can play multi-role. Why not make use of them? Especially in the same way they've done it right now. And now the onus is on Swinburne Black. They have to pick a map, and I'd be curious to see where they take us. Last week they went up against Interstellar, and they had a similar experience at King's Row, losing a match that maybe they thought they might have had in the bag. Sorry, losing a map they might have thought they had in the bag, and They took us to Anubis last time, but they didn't fare so well on that, only capturing 1.66% points. So I'll be curious to see whether or not they take us there again.
Well, it looks like they will be taking us to Anubis again. At least this time, they don't have to worry about a literally insane McCree gunning their whole team down with Deadeye after Deadeye. So they have that going for them there. Maybe they'll actually get to play their game on Anubis instead of playing Hide from the Deadeye. But we'll see what Avoiding Weird Champs can do here. It's not a popular map. In fact, it is usually considered, at least of the original maps, one of the most despised maps in Overwatch. Of course, whatever the most recently released Assault map is always the most despised map. But Anubis, that second point is just 3 narrow choke points. It is so difficult to push into, and that is the reason that people really do not have a good time on it.
I think I feel a little differently about this, and hopefully Swinburne does as well. I like Anubis. It just maybe it's the color palette. It's bright, it's orange, it's sunny. At least out of all the 2CP maps, I feel good playing on it. And there are some different avenues. You can run up the right side. You can jump over the boxes. Jump over the walls. Get to where the supports are sitting out. On point A defense, there's a lot of options you have. You can sit a hit scan up on the high ground, the Widowmaker and Ashe, even the Hanzo. You can bring out the Junkrat, lock down those entry points. So there's lots of opportunities here for Swinburne. We'll see who they choose. I believe Avoiding Weird Champs will be defending first. So they'll get first pick of what kind of defensive setup we see on this map.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of different options for that first point Anubis defense as well. I mean, we went through a whole era of Orisa on the high ground, the high horse defense, if you like, and then that fell out of vogue. Always been a wide variety of defensive options available on that first point. I do really like the first point of Anubis for that. The second point does turn into a massive slog, though. You can't deny that one.
It can be indeed. This is probably a good time to remind everyone that Overwatch is not the only game that AOE runs. We now branching out into Valorant. Now the game's been released, and we have Pugs on Sundays, and also the Valor Cup starting up next week. So if you want to play Valorant in an AOE tournament, head to the AOE social areas, sign up for that tournament, and hopefully we'll be seeing you on that kind of battlefield, not just the Overwatch one.
Absolutely. But speaking of the Overwatch battlefield, we'll be heading into Anubis now. And as you say, it will be the members of Avoiding Weird Champ on their first defense here. We'll see what they go with as they roll out the gates. Long has it been that you had to pick a Mei and run her out there and get her to wall up and then run her back to spawn to swap heroes. Those days, thankfully over. I mean, Symmetra's teleport changes made that a lot less of a painful process anyways. But it looks like they're coming out for a bit of an unconventional defense. I mean, it's not too surprising at this point to see Smash Crab on the Genji, but they're running Alco on the Winston and then Intrinsic on the Sigma. That is not a tank pairing you regularly see.
I cannot remember the last time I even saw this tank pairing, and what's even more curious is that it means the Intrinsic and Alco have swapped roles. Intrinsic now on the nominal off-tank, Alco on the main tank. So perhaps showing a little bit of which players prefer which heroes.
Yeah, I mean, I think in something like this, you're almost running Sigma as a main tank though, which he's not really particularly well suited for it, but it's not terrible for it. But yeah, you got this shield up there providing support for the Ashe on the high ground. And then you've got sort of a roaming Winston looking to ambush people. This is a very interesting composition. And so far, so far we've just seen a clean rotation from the attackers onto the high ground. And it's usually said if a team is able to get up into that room with all people alive, they probably win.
So I got excited there. The bio grenade hit 4, but there was really no follow-up. Now is when Swinburne Black choose to make their approach, and Subred finishing off Smash Crab at the start of the fight. There's a nano boost already available for Falzek. Atticus putting that up so quickly, and Falzek's going to use it to melt down the support line. Has the returned Genji in their sights, will finish it off with a little left fist blow to the head, just like that. Swinburne Black taking point A.
Yeah, it's a clean, decisive win for them. They're going to be happy with that one. Smash Crab, though, he is going to have a blade online fairly quickly, so the snowball potential not really there in a big way. They had to use a fair bit to get it going. Coronet not far from the EMP, but as I said, you got to worry about that blade just to shut down the momentum. Oh, well, never mind.
That blade is gone, as is Falzek, so trades either way, but without the big Winston up front, especially with that Primal Rage ready to go, it's going to be very difficult for Swinburne to make their approach. It looks like they will back away.
Yeah, and with that, any window of Snowball has ended. Avoiding Weird Champs now sitting on 5 ultimates, soon to be 6 when Udon gets that little bit of extra. So we're going to start to see an interesting play here, because Coronet could still make this one happen with an EMP. If you can get a lot of people in that, and it doesn't matter that they've got a lot of ultimates, but normally this is where you start trying to bait ultimates out of the defense.
Oh, Subred loses their mech, and Smash Crab finding Dimple. That's going to shut down that attack before it even gets started. No ultimates invested by either side.
Yeah, really impressive for them to get such a clean initiation and cleanup there, taking advantage of the opportunities without investing anything. I like the discipline coming through from Avoiding Weird Champs. I like that Smash Crab didn't feel the need to pull out the blade there, and it says a lot for this defense, because usually the win condition here for Swinburne Black would be having to bait some out of the defense.
Smashed Crab! Removing Falzek from the fight. Coronet's been waiting in this backline for ages, just in a position, saying, yes, I've got EMP, I'm ready to go, but no opportunity to use it. Alco finishing off RD Polarity. You see a nano boost invested, but, I mean, it's just icing on the cake for this fight for Avoiding Weird Champs.
Yeah, Smash Crab not pulling out the blade there. Just going, no, don't need to blade up. I know I've been nanoed, but I don't feel any obligation to pull out my sword. And it's ultimately the right decision here. Udon can build up another nano without too much difficulty, just on the poke damage that the team's taking. Intrinsic even hanging out in the front lines to deliberately take some damage to help with that charge. They know that everyone's got ultimates. They're not worried about feeding ult charge over. They're just trying to get another nano online.
A lot of damage coming out. Subred's mech going low. Atticus taking a little bit of damage of their own. The self-destruct finally invested. So like making an approach. It takes 2 down. What a start from Subred. The Dragon Blade from RD Polarity goes in, as does the EMP. The rally, everything, including the kitchen sink invested from Swinburne Black. Falzek the only one holding on to an ultimate. It's that Primal Rage. They get burnt down by the Bob. The ultimates coming out from Avoiding Weird Champs come out on top. Swinburne Black may have gone a little early out of the gate.
Well, the trouble is, it was a good bomb. It was a good EMP bomb picking up 2, but it didn't stop the Bob from hitting the point. And no one is better at stopping a snowball than Bob. It's just a lot of hit points that will sit there and shoot you. Very hard to deal with, especially if you're looking to quickly and decisively clean things up. See a lot of ultimates being committed here from both teams, but especially from Swinburne Black. And in the end, they're stopped up. There's still 2 minutes left on the clock here, so they've got another chop, another opportunity here. The RD Polarity really needs to get this next
Gravitic Flux in the doorway, lifts Falzek up, forces the Primal Rage out of that Winston. Atticus finishes off Intrinsic. So good start for Swinburne Black. They need to make their way onto the point and make something of it right now. Another Bob comes out from Ziljab, building up these in record time. Bob sits there on the point, plugging away, has the Valkyrie healing boost, making sure that he stays alive, able to do as much damage as he can. An EMP comes out from Coronet, hits 3 members, but there's just no follow-up from Swinburne Black. Avoiding Weird Champs all over the kill feed right now. They're going to clean up, and Swinburne Black, their massive time bank is now whittled away to just over a minute.
Yeah, when I saw that late EMP, especially considering no one in the team was actually in a position to capitalize on anyone hit by it, I was almost expecting Coronet to swap off the Sombra. I was like, okay, they're just swapping heroes. That's why they didn't mind that it wasn't a good EMP. But it doesn't look like that's the case. I mean, RD Polarity's gone over to the Doomfist, which definitely not a bad idea here, but I almost expected Coronet to go back to the Ash.
Self-destruct goes in, Subred not quite picking up the same value as last time, as Alco takes an app, smash crab all over this wall, has Coronet in their sights, looking for a place to use the Dragon Blade, opens it out with a kill onto Coronet. Intrinsic finds Atticus in the middle of that. The Dragon Blade gets one, but that's all that's required for Avoiding Weird Champs. They've got Files like hemmed into a corner, finish that run off, and 40 seconds left on the clock. Swinburne Black, little to nothing to work with.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have the Shatter online from Filesec. They're going to have a Nano as well. We could be seeing a Nano Reinhardt, and that might be the key here, because there's no shields available on the defense. Weird Chance.
Filesec is so low! Oh, Smash Crab was all over the Reinhardt, but the rest of the team there in support of Filesec, allowing him to get into the point. But Zildjian now has the Blizzard. That, in that small room, is going to be so brutal if they're able to get it off. The proximity buys finish off Dimple, no coalescence on the table for Swinburne Black. Zildjian still holding on to this. Still holding the Blizzard. There's the Earthshatter investor. Filesec though not getting enough value. The EMP's there from Coronet, but there's no one else to follow up. Okay, I take that back. Polarity's down with the Meteor Strike finishing off Udon. Dimple Whisker back with the coalescence up Main Street. The defensive spawns are coming out far too fast. Smash Crab finding Subred. Coalescence wears off with Dimple Whisker still on the point. But now there's another Dragon Blade on top. Smash Crab removed from the front. Atticus, what a bio grenade. Finishes the Genji. Hits another 3. But in the end, it will be Avoiding Weird Champs holding on, not giving up a single tick of progress on point B.
Yeah, really, really nicely played there from Avoiding Weird Champs. They were very patient with their ultimates, and it absolutely pays off. They give up no progress whatsoever. And the moment that we saw that Doomfist getting charged into a pillar by the returning Reinhardt, you just knew that was the end of that one. So they had such an opening there. I feel like they needed to just go straight up the bridge, though. Like going into the side room there against a Mei, against a Wrecking Ball, they really were just tempting fate. And in the end, it's just a minefield right in the middle of their team, cutting down their supports. And with that Swinburne Black, they get stuck on the point with no sustainability against the entire roster there of Avoiding Weird Champs.
Swinburne Black have their work cut out for them, but as they proved on King's Road, their defense is up to snuff. You know, holding on for that, almost 4 minutes
Almost 4
against
minutes.
Avoiding Weird Champs attack. And look, even if they hold out for the 4 minutes and do give up the point, it's still only going to be 3 minutes for Avoiding Weird Champs to keep beating themselves against this Swinburne Black defensive wall. So well placed, perhaps, to at least salvage a draw.
Yeah, I mean, they could potentially salvage a draw. They'd be looking to try and get the win here, try and prevent this first point capture altogether. It's not impossible. It's not the easiest thing in the world. We'll see if they can make it happen here. They're playing very grouped up around this shield, and that could be a really nice thing for Intrinsic on the Wrecking Ball. He's going to be able to get so much slam damage on them.
Well, the Winston Wrecking Ball, another unusual combination coming out for Avoiding Weird Champs, as is Zildjian sitting on the low ground with the Widowmaker, just waiting for an opportunity, but not going to get it. Filesec finishing off the Widow. Smash Crab, you know, gets a bit of revenge, saying, no, you know what, you take out Widow, I'm going to take out 2 of yours. Alco following up onto Dimple. That's going to break the point wide open for Avoiding Weird Champs. They get in, get dirty. Subred the last to fall in the point as we have a pause. But it really, Avoiding Weird Champs has point A locked down.
Yeah, at this point, the casualty is overwhelming against them. Filesec is still alive and in the area, but it's only a matter of time. And it looks like, okay, just a quick micro DC. Oh.
That's okay. Looks like Zildjian dropped out. But that's okay. You lose a bit of ult charge, but you've still got the point that you need. You've still got the points. As we're going to keep pausing and restarting instantly. Avoiding Weird Champs will eventually clean up the point once RD Polarity is down. So a little bit of time being burnt off the clock by Swinburne Black. They're doing a decent job of burning time off. In the end, only really 20 seconds. There's still only 5 members available for Avoiding Weird Champs, so any chance of a snowball is going to have to be some kind of really, really good attack from them. Looks like they may end up just waiting for their main tank to return to the fight. Zildjian back in the game, waiting to be loaded into the server. Avoiding Weird Champs biding the time, but with 5 minutes left on the clock, I mean, they've got a little bit of time to burn. They only need to capture 33% of the point.
Yeah, the members of Avoiding Weird Champs, having lost their lobby host, desperately actually asking for a pause here, which is now going to come through. Just a bit of miscommunication, as unfortunately the lobby host ended up in a very unexpected position, but now resolved. Unfortunately, that time of theirs, they're not going to be able to get back, but they did get that point cap. They're still going to have a good 5 minutes to try and make this one happen. Still looking pretty good for them. They've got the potential of a snowball here, but they don't have the nano to go onto Smash Crab. That said, we've seen Smash Crab can do good work without the blade. So we can potentially see them here. There's not a lot in the way of defensive options available for the members of Swinburne Black either, but they will have the supercharger, and that can open up all sorts of options.
Indeed, Zildjian going down early, got picked off on the Widowmaker, so wasn't really anywhere close to a infrasight anyway. So really a good position for Avoiding Weird Champs, even with that time that was, they did have to wait while they were a player down. They're going to come in with some strong options, and Swinburne Black, they're going to have to take this quite well. They're going to have to make good use of Filezek's supercharger or rely on Dimple Whisker building up that rally in order to stave off a snowball.
Absolutely. Still, there's going to be a bit of a moment here for the members of Avoiding Weird Champ to regather themselves. The silver lining is that they were on the attack, which means there wasn't an opportunity to just run them through while they were down a player, and they've got so much time to make this one happen as well. Definitely a big opening here for them. 5 minutes, it's a long time to hold off the second point, but it's not impossible, because second point Anubis can be so horrible to try and crack open. If they can't get it in this first push where they've got the momentum in their favor, it could be several minutes waiting for the ultimates to line up again in just the right way to have a realistic shot at it.
Well, they've got the time, 5 minute time bank. If you're quick with your ultimates, that's 3 full ultimate fights. If you're a bit slower, that's at least 2 more fights where you could have multiple ultimates coming in. So plenty of opportunity for Avoiding Weird Champs to get the job done. And of course, the winner of this match will go ahead in the series. So a draw, we'll see us stuck at 1-1, potentially forcing us through to a map 8 in the end if the match is to go all the way to 4-3. We're underway.
Yeah,
Smash
back
Crab
underway.
lurking. Go ahead.
You're back underway. I like the Reaper swap coming in from Zildjian, because it's not a hero that relies on the ultimate.
And as you said, no nano boost required. Smash Crab slicing and dicing their way through. Picks up Sudrev and the supercharger. Alco's Primal Rage boxing Filezek into a corner, finishing them off. Intrinsic's proximity mines on the point clears so much room for Alco to get the job done. A counter Dragon Blade out from RD Polarity, but forced immediately out of their Echo duplicate form. Does find Udon in the middle of that as Subreddit comes out, finds Zildjian. Kills coming back for Swinburne Black. They just need to get the reinforcements out there that little bit faster. A coalescence from Atticus will help. So Fire Strike sails across the point from Filezek. Now the reinforcements are there. Swinburne Black holding strong on the point. They just need to clean up these members without losing too much of their own, and they need to make sure they are staying on the point. Polarity out, 2 kills off the back of some great Doomfist play. Filezek charges their way across the point, and with that, particularly that Doomfist play, it might be the clean up they need. Smash Crab thinks they can still got it. The Dragon Blade picks up 2, it's good, but no. Subred going to be swinging around with the grappling hook, finishing up the Genji. That will be that for that attack. A valiant effort from Avoiding Weird Champs, but Swinburne Black holding on by their skin of their teeth.
Absolutely, that came down to the wire in the end. Atticus with the Coalescence, probably the biggest difference maker, coming back through, hosing people down with that healing beam, as well as putting the pressure onto their opponents as well. But, I mean, in the course of that fight, we've seen Avoidingweirdchamps build a lot of ultimates back up. In fact, if Smash Crab hadn't thrown it away, they'd be bleeding a bit into this one. That said, early kill from Smash Crab. This is another big opening.
Oh, but Udon gets trapped in the corner. Coronet hunting that down. The sound barrier invested by Dimplewhisker to keep everyone alive on the point. Intrinsic has another set of proximity mines at the ready, swinging around these towers using the grappling hook. Has to back away as those temporary shields wear off. A nice pulse bomb from Coronet finishes off Smash Crab. Gets killed for their efforts. But the rest of Swinburne Black able to cover their Tracer as they force back yet another assault from Avoidingweirdchamps.
Yeah, they've managed to win the fight there, but they had to use the sound barrier, which means they're not going to have it available for what could be another Nano Blade coming through very shortly. Smash Crab has been building ultimate up so quickly on this Genji, and without any sort of defensive tool against it, you've got to be very, very, very worried. And I mean, yeah, this could be it. If Swinburne Black, on the other hand, were able to stop that one up, get through this one, maybe through a good minefield or other really good engagements from their players, they could be in a good position to hold this one through.
Proximity mines go out. Oh, sorry, Submarines in proximity mines go out on the bridge. Intrinsic throws theirs onto the point, gets stunned in the middle of it, able to get away. Sergeant has the Valkyrie and the Resurrection. Zildjian back in the fight. The Dragon Blade now out from Smash Crab, hunting for a target, not quite finding anyone. Swimmer Black doing a great job of avoiding it, but they avoid it right into the proximity mines. Kills coming back for them. It's still quite even on the point, but the defensive side looks like they have the numbers advantage. The Meteor Strike coming down from Polarity, finishing off Smash Crab. Will again see off an attack from Avoidingweirdchamps. Now, Pioneers, they're down to a minute left in the time bank. Things are looking good for Swinburne Black.
Things are looking King's Row. Yeah, things are looking very good for Swinburne Black, though. That was the fight they needed to win. It was going to be the rough one. They managed to do it. As a result, we see the full composition reset coming through from the members of Avoidingweirdchamp. They're not going to have the big tools available. I mean, Smash Crab's probably going to get another blade off because they've been building them so quickly, but they're not going to see much of the way of ultimates. Meanwhile, Filezek about to have a Shatter online as well. This is looking really dangerous for Avoidingweirdchamps.
Speaking of Earth Shatters, there it goes, lays it down right into the shield of Intrinsic, who gets charged down. Filezek not needing that Earth Shatter to get the job done. It's really just a bait. Swing through Zildjian. As again, Avoidingweirdchamps thrown back. 30 seconds left on the clock. They're pulling back to regroup. A little chase by Swimmer Black, but they lose Dimple in the process. But Smash Crack going down, maybe a reprieve for the defending team.
Yeah, I think anyone else, and maybe Smash Crab can go anyways, but that is the tool they need. The res will be invested, but it's going to be enough time
Polarity
here.
looking, waiting to see for a nice juicy target. Finds Udon! What a start to the fight. The Meteor Strike is there. Smash Crab has a Dragon Blade, finding Coronet, but the kills all going the defensive's way. I take that back. Intrinsic manages to pick off Polarity and charges Dimplewhisker out of the fight. The sound barrier was invested. Now it's gone. Intrinsic still there. Sergeant doing a great job flying around with the heals, keeping everyone topped up on the point. They fall straight into Filezek's hammer, who swings down to Intrinsic. Gone. This will be Swinburne Black holding for the draw. We remain even in this final. This is going to go all night, folks.
It sure is. We've managed to get this one through in the end. I mean, it's a heroic hold coming through from Swinburne Black, but they absolutely pull it off. And in the end, that's going to keep them alive here. The scores will remain even 1-1. This map gets sort of just tossed aside. But you still, after that, the momentum is still going to be behind the members of Swinburne Black, putting up a heroic defense, holding out there, and just so with some really clutch plays coming through in order to prevent that from going over, because there were some very dangerous assaults coming through.
Indeed, there wasn't. Again, I'll say it again. Avoidingweirdchamps didn't quite get the win, but I'm impressed by the swap from Zildjian and Udon. Udon was phenomenal on that Ana, building up great nano boost, and the bio grenades were to die for.
Absolutely. Just we've seen so many good bio-nades this evening already in this matchup. Both of these players put in a great performance, but Udon just doing such great work there from avoiding weird chance. Unfortunately, not enough to get it through in the end. And as a result, we'll be moving over to Escort as our next map mode.
Yep, and the map again will be decided by the loser of the last map that was a conclusive result, so Swinburne Black gets to choose again.
Absolutely. And I think the teams are just reconfirming that as well, because it's not something that comes up every day. And they will have their opportunity to decide where they want to take it in Escort. The maps, of course, being Rialto, Havana, and Route 66. Overwhelmingly, we have been seeing Rialto as the preferred Escort map. I haven't actually seen a good Route 66 in such a long time. I'd really like to see one.
Yeah, I like Route 66. Again, excuse me, I stepped on my headset cord. I think we're finding out a little bit about myself here. I like maps that are orange, like
That's
bright,
fair.
outdoor, sunny, orange maps.
No, I mean, that makes sense. I just like Route 66 because of its variance in the different pacing in the different sections, the long open sight lines, and the fact that it sort of brings into play, especially for those first two stages, a bit of a different play style than the one that is sort of the norm for the Escort. But perhaps unsurprisingly, it looks like we will be going to Rialto, which continues to be the preferred Escort map. And with that, it will be, again, these two teams trying to get ahead in this series. At least this one can't end in a draw. So after this map, one of these teams will be ahead.
I don't know. We could end up in a situation where both teams full hold at the door. The cart makes zero progress. I haven't seen it done yet. I've seen close to, well, actually, I think I saw an Overwatch League match. Was it that, or was it pre-Overwatch League? That was one team held like 15 meters in front of Route 66 door, and the other team held them even closer than that. Was it a London match?
Oh, yeah, I think it was a London match. I think it was. That was one of those maps. It was one of the first times we saw like the quad, or we saw like the 5 DPS wrecking ball comp or something crazy coming out. Those were the days.
Well, those days are gone. They're not here in AOE Ascent either. We are sticking with the 2-2-2 lock, and you know what? You can bag it all you want. Yeah, triple DPS is fun. Quadruple DPS is fun, but not in my ranked games and not in this tournament. We want to give the tanks and supports the chance to shine, and shine they have. Filezek on this Reinhardt has been electric.
Yeah, electric is definitely the term. They have been just absolutely swinging their weight around. Intrinsic has regularly found themselves thrown up into walls by the opposing Reinhardt, and it's been going a big way for winning these fights. Filezek winning the tank battles has been really important for their continued successful defenses.
And speaking of shining, the support line, particularly Sergeant, has been doing a really good job playing the Mercy across all the compositions of seeing all these different maps. So Avoiding Weird Champs been playing really well around that support line, not feeling the need to change it up too much, and it's been working. There's been some amazing reses coming off, some clutch Valkyries keeping players from Avoiding Weird Champs in the fight. So really great job from Sergeant.
Yeah, I love a good Mercy. When the Mercy play is at the highest level, you see them hovering over the battlefield. The healing beam is peeling to whoever needs it most. The damage beam is there. And in fact, the damage beam has been enabling Smash Crab with some of those non-boosted blades, really allowing that damage to come through, confirm those kills, get the dash resets. And a good Mercy who's able to go forwards with the Genji and those sort of aggressive plays and not get killed for it, it's absolutely what you want. But it looks like we might be seeing something different out of them here for this defense, because we've actually got Sergeant over onto the Brig and Zildjian back onto the support role, picking up the Moira.
Sorry, Sergeant. I wasn't trying to imply you're a Mercy one trick. I'm just saying, look, if you look at my play stats, I think Mercy's my second most played hero, so I'm not bagging Mercy mains at all. I love the character. In any case, Polarity back on the fire. They so love and are so good at plugging rockets in. Intrinsic, the first to fall, courtesy of the damage inflicted. Followed up by Subred for the final blow. Swinburne Black making all the room they need to get this cart progress started. We're not going to be seeing a tie here. Don't worry, folks. The cart has moved.
Absolutely, and it's going to continue to push forwards if Swinburne Black has anything to say about it. Going to see Filezek getting very aggressive here. Meanwhile, the rockets continue to rain in from above, and a nano onto Filezek as well.
Lays it down on the bridge. Not necessary, but just a style move coming out from this main tank. Swinburne Black pushing the cart through the first point uncontested.
Absolutely, that will be a quick cap there, and unfortunately it means that the members of Avoiding Weird Champs actually get the split spawn. Half the team spawning in early and just getting cleaned up. It is free ultimate charge.
Dimple picking them up. There you go. That's what we want to see out of a Mercy. Bring out that Caduceus Blaster. Finish off the kills. I mean, that's what Valkyrie is for. It's not for the rest of your team. It's just so you can fly faster.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But now we're going to see Avoiding Weird Champs. They've regrouped up. They're going to go for the aggressive play on the cart, but their team's been split up here. Their DPS sort of cut out from their tank line, and a great pulse bomb from Coronet is going to put a lot of pressure on this defense.
Proves so deadly on the Tracer so far, showing no signs of slowing down. Avoiding Weird Champs take the high ground, but that's just brought you closer to RD Polarity. The barrage finishes off two. Filezek charges forward, finishing off more, already up to another Earthshatter.
Yeah, I think that one, because they lost someone to the pulse bomb so early, they were sort of stuck up there, sort of wondering what they should do, and the decision was ultimately made for them when RD Polarity decided to drop the barrage over the top. Now the aggression's still pushing forwards. Coronet's still getting good work done.
Filezek, good pressure onto the main tank. Forced down low and immediately taken out of the fight. This counter engage from Avoiding Weird Champ is so good. They've finally stopped the cart. And it's, you know what? It's the 5 minutes. If they're going to defend for 5 minutes, it's a good spot to be doing it.
Absolutely, you want to get cart control, you want to force your opponents into having to win more than one fight to get it across the line here. So going for the early hold here means you're going to have time to go get a proper spawn through, regroup in spawn, come out and contest that payload.
Intrinsic lays down the Earthshatter in the room, charges RD Polarity off the staircase. That will see Swinburne Black thrown back yet again, although Filezek have something to say about that. Swinging away on the cart. I believe got Nano Booster in the middle of that, burnt down very low, gets stunned again. The healing's not quite going to keep them in the fight. Zildjian finish off Sergeant finish off Coronet and Filezek, so that I think Sergeant might be watching the stream and yeah, maybe a little angry at me, showing exactly why they are a great support. Oh dear.
Absolutely, and that there is sort of the risk of what happens when you send your main tank on the flank play. That does mean the enemy main tank can just aggress up on your team. In the end, Filezek not able to get enough done.
Oh, finally lays down the Earthshatter. It only hits Udon, but they'll be back up in no time. Zildjian uses the Coalescence to keep everyone up straight into the Graviton Surge. 2 kills traded either way from respective ultimates. Filezek, they're back in the fight. The big shield presence ready and available for Swinburne Black as the cart pushes forward. That's a team kill. They're going to get it around this last corner. They're in a great position to finish off the map.
Yeah, 4 minutes left on the clock, or just under it there. We are going to have another defense coming out. Smashcrab actually going to swap over to the Echo here just to try and give some more versatility, but you got to worry about the barrage that could come through. I don't know if they're expecting one. They do have to worry about grouping up a little too much. It looks like the members of Swinburne Black, they're trying
Polarity
to
trips in, throws the barrage down, takes Intrinsic out of the fight, is punished for the hubris, as is Filezek, who is immediately resurrected back into the fight, but Udon plugging away with this Peacekeeper, making that shield cracking. In the meantime, Swinburne Black picking up the kill. Subred and Coronet getting busy, as is Filezek. There's McCree finally down the Nano Boost, but Filezek building up towards another Earthshatter, charges into Intrinsic, who is burnt down, doesn't lose the Earthshatter, but doesn't get the opportunity to use it. That cart will push itself home. 3 minutes on the clock. Swinburne setting a monstrously fast pace.
Yeah, that is an incredible time to be finishing Rialto in of all maps. That third point can be such a grind to get through, but in the end, they managed to burn through it. It looked messy, but it worked so well. They managed to trade their Pharah for the enemy Reinhardt, rezzing their own at the same time. And the moment when you've got a Reinhardt up and they don't, you can put so much pressure onto them. In the end, Avoidingweirdchamps find themselves having to avoid the Reinhardt hammer. And, well, Filezek had other things to say about that particular attempt. Swinburne Black getting it across the line, setting a great time. And now it's on to Avoidingweirdchamps to try and deal with being on the back foot for the first time. Because in a lot of these other maps, the last two matches, it's been Avoidingweirdchamps coming through in a great position and Swinburne Black having an awkward defense here. This is the potential to be the other way around.
I think Swinburne Black have really shown how proficient they are. Once they get a payload and get it moving, it's their single point defenses. Well, I take that back. They just held a single point defense for 5 minutes on Anubis, so I'm not sure what to think right now. I think the moral of the story is both of these teams are oh so even. It's just a little bit here, a little bit there is what's deciding each of these maps, and Rialto hopefully doesn't prove any different, as no Udon, no, he's not coming out on the Bastion. Going to be switching across to the Sombra.
Yeah, an interesting pick here. They're going to be going for the hack and slash. It should help to enable Smash Crab. I feel like the longer this game goes on, the stronger Swinburne Black may be, because it does look like they've got the deeper, more flexible hero pool than Avoidingweirdchamp. So as good as Smash Crab is on the Genji, that does seem to be the only hero they're having a great...
Oh, that's a notch charge from Intrinsic. It finishes two. Oh, sorry, no, the other one was Smash Crab with the dash. But that will be the point. First point cleanup for Avoidingweirdchamps. It looks like they might get the same kind of start that Swinburne Black did.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of people though, and there's going to be an opportunity here for the defense to reassert itself before it gets around the corner. So there's still an opportunity for Swinburne Black to stop this one up. They're playing it patiently, waiting until they want to commit in, and there's a Bob
already on the field.
Immediately slept.
Yeah, and that's not being woken up. Smart play by Avoidingweirdchamps, dealing effectively with that ultimate. Coronet still plugging away. Gets taken down very low force. Oh my god, Intrinsic lays down two Sergeant as the Valkyrie wear off, and that might be the difference maker right now. Falzek plugging away. Ardy Polarity over the top with Coronet back in the fight. Falzek down almost immediately. Polarity doing what they can on the cart with a barrage, but doesn't get an opportunity to use it as it pushes home over the first point.
Yeah, both teams getting a lot done in that fight. Udon's actually swapped over to the Soldier 76, so not finding the work with the Sombra. The extra shield break that they're able to bring to the table means so much more pressure on Filezek, and it's going to make it a lot harder to keep the team safe.
Graviton Surge invested, and the Nano Blade over the top. Smash Crab slicing through the tank line. Intrinsic finding Atticus. Smash Crab will, in the end, be cut down, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done. Sergeant with the resurrection. Congratulations to the Genji for doing such a great job.
You can definitely see that Coronet is really trying to focus Smash Crab, but is not able to get the damage through fast enough to prevent the Genji from killing several people before they go down.
Valkyrie, the first ultimate of the fight coming through from Sergeant. Arctic Polarity over the top, looking for an opportunity. The barrage is there into the Graviton Surge, finishes one, immediately taking down Sergeant. There it is, the Caduceus Blaster doing great work as Udon's Tack Visor finds Dimple Whisker. The rest of the kills going the way of Avoidingweirdchamps. Another quick attack on a point season with 5 minutes of their own on the clock.
Yeah, this is looking familiar. This looks a lot like King's Row now, where we saw both teams setting some really good times as they push through. This might be Avoidingweirdchamps making it happen once again. As, they're bucking to push forwards and try and keep this one going. Actually, I tell a lie. I'm thinking of King's Row from our first match tonight, not this current one here. Still, an early kill onto Udon is exactly what the members of Swinburne Black are looking for.
There they are. The Nano Boost goes in onto... Gets immediately taken down. Sorry, Atticus used the Nano Boost, but is immediately taken down after using it. The Resurrection is there. as RD Polarity fires in rockets, removing Alco from the fight. No Graviton Surge available, but Smash Crab doesn't need it. Going in anyway, finding Coronet, hunting down another target. Ati gets finished off by a Bio Grenade from Zildjian. 2 kills for Avoiding Weird Champs, only answered by the 1 of Swinburne Black, but they can't quite push in just yet.
Yeah, without a main tank here to be the tip of the spear, it's very hard to make the momentum, even with the local numbers advantage, and Smash Crab eventually gets caught out, and it looks like we've maybe had another DC coming through as well. So we've had a sudden pause there. But this fight, it's a bit of a rough position to be in for the members of Avoiding Weird Champs. They're a little scattered, they're not quite in a position to receive it, and Intrinsic actually
Zero.
deep. So with that, it's only a matter of time until... Well, it's hard to say. It's really going to come down to the next couple of plays, but with Smash Crab having just recently been removed, numbers advantage is in favor of the defenders here. And of course, with that close defensive spawn as well, it's so quick for them to reinforce. I said Alco does have the Grav online, and they could very quickly turn things back here. A well-placed Grav could be absolutely huge.
Indeed, it could, and Sergeant has the Valkyrie already put to such a great use already. Wouldn't be surprised if that gets invested into this next fight in combination with the Graviton Surge, hoping to overwhelm the defense. Given that Swinburne Black doesn't have anything to work with right now, this is probably the best opportunity for Avoiding Weird Champs to finish off the map with a superior time. Well, actually, it's the only opportunity to finish off the map with a superior time back.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure on this one, and I mean, it's rough because you want to try and finish with that better time bank. You want to put yourself in the best possible position, but at the same time, if you commit too much too early, you can absolutely put yourself in a hole that is very hard to dig out of. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a little bumpy coming out because all of these players, they're not like, this is not it's not really the middle of a team fight, but they're not in a great position for a pause. So there's going to be a lot of very quick adjustments from everyone now that they've had this moment to sort of plan amongst their teams and work out what's going next.
We're getting back underway. We'll see if Alco invests the Graviton Surge as the opening play.
No, perhaps unsurprisingly, they're looking to back off and regroup. They are down a player. It's very hard to commit into that. And
they're down another.
Yeah, Coronet on the pursuit, picks up the group, dynamite. And there's rockets from RD Polarity down the top as well. Absolutely oppressive, trying to get that crit damage.
Under pressure from Coronet, the Killer Smash Crab came in, saved the Mercy's life, but paid for their own with it. No resurrection in that position. I think coming through for Avoiding Weird Champs, they're going to have to wait for Smash to respawn.
Yeah, Smash Crab actually going to give up the Genji, moving over to the Ashe. So we're getting a double hit scan coming out from the attackers here. Probably in respect to RD Polarity and the sheer amount of damage that they're putting onto the table right now.
There's the Valkyrie from Sergeant. RD Polarity over the top, waiting for an opportunity to use the barrage. The Graviton Surge invested by both. RD Polarity's barrage is huge. Picks up 3, but Udon with the tag fires are picking up 2, as does Intrinsic. Alco back into the fight. All of a sudden, the tables are turned. Avoiding Weird Champs pushing the cart forward yet again. They want to finish this map with time in the bank.
The good news for the members of Swinburne Black, though, it was a team kill, which means they all died at the same time. They'll all respawn at the same time. That gives them a great opportunity to reassert control of the payload.
Swinging through, Alco taken out thanks to a team effort from Swinburne Black. The defense reasserting itself almost as quickly as it fell.
Yeah, I mean, when you get a clean wipe like that and the opposing team has taken casualties, it does make for a very difficult position. It was basically a 6v4 there, and they came out swinging with the ultimates, so perhaps not too surprising that Swinburne Black are able to get the payload back under control, but it has made its way around a couple of corners from that first fight win. It means the defense is that a little bit more stretched.
What we are going to see is that as Avoiding Weird Champs timer burns down, if they do finish the map, it's going to make a difference on the second time round, given that Swinburne Black has 3 minutes. That's a healthy time bank. Ooh. Smash Crab, Intrinsic, the Fire Strike takes out 2. Smash Crab goes down immediately after being resurrected. And Coronet making waves right now, picking up 2. Falzak coming back into the fight with an Earth Shatter in tow. Coronet putting the team on their back. He is unstoppable. Udon removed courtesy of a Pulse Bomb. And what looked like Avoiding Weird Champs may have been able to complete the map. Swinburne is back in control, courtesy of the Tracer. Zildjian and Coronet cannot be stopped.
And this is what I was a little worried about with Avoiding Weird Champ, is that Smash Crab, the moment they're off the Genji, they really are not having the same sort of performance as what we were seeing from them. They don't seem to be as experienced on some of these other heroes, and it's definitely detrimental to them in these sort of close matchups where the Genji was just not getting the job done.
Shatter, it lays down the front line. Intrinsic gone. Sergeant pops the Valkyrie just to keep people alive. Udon finally finds Coronet, that pesky Tracer, out of the way for a brief moment as resurrections come through, courtesy of both Mercies. Udon, the tactical visor, invested trying to find Coronet, but the Tracer almost takes the 1-1, eventually burnt down, but it requires the entire ultimate to be used. Graviton barrage combination over the top will finish up the fight. RD Polarity finishing out with the final 3 blows. Final 4 blows.
And with 15 seconds left on the clock, you're not even going to get a proper team fight here. The members of Avoiding Weird Champ, they're going to be desperately scrambling in there, trying to get there. And Filezek, he is playing defensive lineman here. He does not want them even getting to that payload.
Oh, Intrinsic charged their way to the car, had the Earth Shatter ready, but in the end, not enough. Swinburne Black take out their map pick of Rialto. They take another lead in this series, 2 maps to 1.
Yeah, it's a great opening here. A good chance for Swinburne Black to get some progress ahead. And it's looking good for them. As I said, the longer this sort of goes on, the more I sort of start to favour Swinburne Black, because they're ultimately a very experienced roster. They've got a lot of good players on that team, and they've got a lot of flexibility. Whereas the members of Avoiding Weird Champ, they don't have the same sort of flexibility. And so the more time Swinburne Black has to sort of work out how to beat them, the harder it is going to be for them to edge this one through. They've got some incredible players there, but without sort of the more depth in the hero pools, once things are getting countered and they need to swap things up, they start to see the cracks in the armor appearing, and that's what we're seeing here in Rialto. We'll see if, when we're moving over to control next, if Avoiding Weird Champ are able to get things back under control. It looks like they're actually doing a substitution here. So we're going to have Jack coming in, taking over on one of the tank roles. That might be what they're looking for. Yeah, Intrinsic.
So Intrinsic has been playing the main tank role, pretty much Reinhardt specialist. We did see a bit of flexing onto Sigma, and even on Anubis on the defense, we saw Wrecking Ball. So Jack coming in, maybe signaling an Orisa kind of play, or just they're not feeling it with Intrinsic and they want to bring in a different Reinhardt player.
Yeah, maybe. I think I would hope that it's because Jack plays some very different heroes. I think maybe you're looking to go over to a Winston-based playstyle and really commit to the Genji dive that Smash Crab is really good at. Play to your strengths. I could see that being a viable strategy here. But we'll see. We'll see, because even with Swinburne trying to hard focus that Genji, Smash Crab was still getting work done. If you have a main tank in there providing some screening for him, it suddenly becomes a lot harder to shut down.
That it doesn't. And that map, again, we're seeing the strengths of Swinburne Black come out to play. Filezek can stick on the Reinhardt, swing away, build up Earth Shatters in no time flat, can hold Earth Shatters for a couple of fights and still get through them. RT Polarity, they're on the far, just seem to perpetually have the barrage ready, just hovering over the top of the roofs, waiting for an opportunity to use it. And when he did, it was lights out for Avoiding Weird Champs.
Yeah, absolutely. RD Polarity continues to be a very dangerous player. That said, we can't go past the performance of Coronet on the Tracer there on that defense. Just blinking through the members of Avoiding Weird Champ, and just so many executions, so many pulse bombs, so many successful pickups. They absolutely baffled the members of Avoiding Weird Champ. It took Attack Visor to stop Coronet running rampant through their team. Really does show a lot for just how dangerous Coronet is being. And I think when you do something like that, you start to realize that, they don't really have a defense against a Tracer. And I think maybe we start to see a lot more of Coronet on Tracer in these matchups. Could be very dangerous for Avoiding Weird Champs if they can't adapt to it.
If Avoiding Weird Champs wants to counter Tracer by running full dive and Swinburne chooses to do the same, I, for one, will not be complaining about that turn of events. It'll be exciting to watch, and I like the combination of the Farah and the Tracer. It's a combination where you see the Farah throwing in the rockets, getting lots of chunk damage on targets, and if their calling is on point, they can call out, oh, hey, Arna low, and then Coronet can dip in, finish off the kill, and it's such a potent combination. It can be really, really difficult to deal with, and I'm curious to see whether Swinburne sticks on it, given the effectiveness it had on Rialto. As we will be going to our control map, the choice was between Busan and Ilios. It looks like Avoiding Weird Champs take us to Ilios.
Yeah, it's an interesting pick from Avoiding Weird Champs because Ilios plays very well into that Farah Tracer playstyle. So it's not really where I'd want to be going against a team that's doing that as devastatingly as Swinburne is. At the same time, it is maybe also the better map for Genji, but my hang-ups are absolutely on that. You can run Farah quite comfortably on 2 of the 3 stages, and if you're not putting out something like a good Widowmaker on Ruins, you can run Farah on Ruins as well. It's just normally you don't there because it has such long sightlines available to a Widowmaker, and a lot of the time you see sort of a Widowmaker Tracer there instead in that sort of lineup. So
I can see a little inkling of something here for Avoiding Weird Champs. Zildjian has shown up on the Widowmaker briefly at the start of Anubis before they dropped out. And we also saw Smash Crab on Nepal playing the Farah and doing a decent job up against RD Polarity. And
that's true.
Doing a decent job against RD Polarity is actually quite high praise, given how good we've seen Polarity can be. So maybe they themselves are going to be opting into that more Farah-like matchup. They feel they had a better go of it on Nepal against it. Maybe opt in for it.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a good way to go. Certainly Smash Crab, as you said, they were doing a pretty good job on the Farah, so they are pretty damn respectable on the Farah in addition to the Genji. So I think you definitely want to keep them to their strengths in that projectile hero play, because it's been when they've been having to flex over the hit scans that they haven't had the performance there. I think that's sort of understandable, especially from players that are relatively newer at Overwatch. Having to be a broad spectrum flex DPS instead of just a projectile DPS is a big ask. But very good performance on these projectile heroes, and opting into that, maybe going for the Farah mirror duel, because they weren't. I mean, they didn't win. They didn't win Nepal, but they put in a good showing nonetheless, and definitely could put up a pharmacy just as dangerous as Swinburne Blacks. So, not a terrible idea whatsoever.
No, this match, we're going to keep reiterating, it has been so close. No 4 holds, no zeros anywhere on the board in first rounds. Nepal saw both teams taking percentage in all 3 rounds. Kings Row, both teams completed the map. Anubis, okay, no one completed the map, but that's okay. They both did the exact same thing, 1 point and 0%. And then again, Rialto, both teams completing or almost completing the map. It's so close. Avoiding Weird Champs, they were on top of the table after the regular season. They beat everyone but Interstellar. But now, law by transitive properties, Swinburne has beat Interstellar, therefore they realistically should be coming into this match as favourites, and based on that solid chain of logic, they're showing why they were the favourites.
Absolutely, and Swinburne Black, they are looking really good here. I mean, the 2-1 victory in their favour. They managed to hold out on Anubis as well, so they may not have taken a point from it, but you see that one as sort of a half victory in their favour in the end anyways. So
that was no 5-minute hold too.
Yeah, the momentum you get from something like that, it may not have put points on the board, but it feels like a win. And that's important. That's important.
Hell yeah. Draw. Woo! No, I can't say I've ever been that excited about a draw before, no matter the circumstances. It's usually a draw in Overwatch. You've played a map for 20 minutes, you go, thank goodness it's over. And it's, oh, that's right, it's just a draw. In any case, the teams are taking... No, they're not taking a break. They are ready. They've re-strategized. The Avoiding Weird Champs adjusting to Jack now being in the lineup, making sure comms are okay, making sure then internet connections are as stable as they can be. We're almost ready to get back into it. In the meantime, just a reminder of all the different ways you can engage with AoE. We have Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. You can find us under the handle AO Esports on all those locations. All those locations, plus the website aoesports.com.au, will include links to the Discords you can join. You can join the main AoE Discord, also the Ascent Discord, and you can also support AoE by subscribing to the Twitch channel if you're so inclined. And make sure you are subscribed or following the Twitch channel or in some way involved in AoE's social network, because we've still got 2 grand final matches to bring you tomorrow night. The Division 1 and Division 2 matches both promise to be as exciting as the matches tonight. Speaking of exciting matches, Pyronius, we're loading into Ilios.
Loading into Ilios, indeed, and this is possibly my favorite control map. I have a real fondness for it, dating all the way back to following Blank through the the OPC? Yeah, the OPC before it became Pacific Contenders, because it was their best control map, and I was thoroughly a Blank original roster fanboy. So a lot of fondness for this map I hold, and it's going to be interesting to see what we see out here, because based at least on the initial lock-ins, we are indeed seeing Alco over onto that Winston to enable the Genji dive coming through from Smash Crab. Zildjian's still playing on the Ashe, but I don't hate that given the power she has. And RD Polarity and Coronet reprising their Pharah Tracer composition here. So it's going to be interesting to see if Filesec sticks on the Rhine or moves over to adapt to the Winston.
For the moment, sticking on the Rhine, taking up first position on the point, but that's okay if you're avoiding weird champs. You're willing to play on the outskirts, looking for an opportunity to isolate a member of the opposing team and dive on them. As the composition is known, but Subred finding Alco is going to make that a lot more difficult. Atticus goes down. So a nice little opening trade will end up favouring Swinburne Black, who had position on point. But Coronet is so low, the recall forced out for the Tracer just to keep them into the fight. They go low again, skip out, find the health pack. But the kills have so far gone most of the way of avoiding weird champs. A few stragglers from Swinburne Black holding on and bringing it back. Spalzek charges Zildjian into a wall, gets punished for it. Smash Crab finishing that off, has already built up the Dragon Blade, but not needing to invest it for the moment as Jack gets the knockoff under Subred. Swinburne Black still holding on to the point, but avoiding weird champs have it all but locked down.
Yeah, that will be the point flip there. Oh, except they all get off the point. That'll be an extra couple of percentage in Swinburne Black's favour there as a result. But 33%, not bad as an opening one there. Actually not bad for both teams, because Alco went down early twice on the Winston, and yet they still managed to get the flip relatively early on. The next fight's going to be a big one, though. Here comes the Blade.
Dragon Blade comes out. The Valkyrie in support. Oh no, Smash Crab walks right into the Earth Shudder of Falsec. Genji is denied. Falsec goes off the side. As the kills now coming through for avoiding weird champs. Swinburne Black going to be cleared off. Coronet doing some work onto Zildjian, but in the end, Dimple taking a dive. Zildjian back in the fight. Another fight win for avoiding weird champs after a bit of a dicey start.
Yeah, I mean, that one, yeah, like, Smash Crab gets hit with a shatter, but ultimately he's got the nano there to keep him alive, and then Filesec misses the charge, I guess? I don't know, just some unexpected OTM that really cost him that fight.
Bob out on the field, Zildjian investing. The Butler Coronet going to work, picks up 2, eventually falls afoul. The Butler cleaning up the mess left by avoiding weird champs. That's what he does. And again, Swinburne Black sent back to the drawing board. 70% on the board for avoiding weird champs.
And Jack actually ate Subred's Grav in that last fight as well, so that is a very powerful ultimate off the table. Not that it's going to be easy to catch this sort of team in a Grav anyways, given how far out they're going to want to play. There's Udon early in a Pulse Bomb. Coronet still didn't work.
With the start, Alco's Primal Rage knocks 2 off the side. That looks like it might be play of the game right there. As Falzek bopped off the point. The Primal Rage runs out, trapped into a corner. Alco finishing that one off. You don't need a Primal Rage to melee as Winston. Atticus flying around, gets the resurrection, thanks courtesy of the Valkyrie. Alco trying their best to burn down Falzek. It will be a Smash Crab finishing that one off. Has another Dragon Blade built up. The barrage invested by RD Polarity, but they're going to kill themselves in the process. The Dragon Blade swinging through the air in the end. Atticus falling down over time, doing its best to burn down and Avoiding Weird Champs in control of the point. They take the first round here on Ilios in a site reminiscent of Nepal.
Yeah, but I like this adaptation from them. They're playing a very different playstyle here now, and it's really it's really thrown off Swinburne Black. Elko, he had a bit of a rough start on the Winston early on, but has really come into their own there for the rest of it. You see them getting the big Primal Rage kills, running rings around there, and then RD Polarity just jumping on that barrage and making sure that it was off the table. Trade your life for it, but you've got the res there. The important thing is those rockets are not hitting anyone now. Just some really good play there, and I think we need to see some more adaptation come out of Swinburne Black to respond to it, because the Reinhardt can be a very difficult thing to play, and it looks like they're gonna bunker up to deal with this dive. I like it.
The pulled pork Torbjorn composition, the big notable feature of the map, as it is named for. Jack almost goes for a dive, able to avoid it as Falzek is the first one to go in search of the gold down the bottom of the well. Thanks, Udon. Jack taking Dimple Whisker out of the fight, followed shortly by Atticus. We'll see Avoiding Weird Champs take first control of the point this time.
Yeah, this is a nasty CC comp coming through from Avoiding Weird Champs. They have so many ways to knock you down there between Jack on the Wrecking Ball, the Primal Rage, the Coach Gun, the Lucio Boop. There are so many problems. And so, yeah, you can fortify against the first one as Falzek did, but there's so many more CCs coming at you.
Smash Crab looking for a target of opportunity, so close to the Dragon Blade, just was to unleash it. The Immortality Field invested by Dimple Whisker to keep everyone alive. The Dragon Blade's out now, there's no Immortality Field in play. Smash Crab looking for a target, but hard pressed to find one. Eventually finds RD Polarity. Subred finished off, thanks mostly to those Dragon Blade swings. And Dimple Whisker going down, not even able to unleash the Amplification Matrix. We'll see Avoiding Weird Champs holding on to the point, building up towards 50%.
Yeah, this is a completely rejuvenated Avoiding Weird Champs roster here now, and it's absolutely showing. They've really putting the hurt back onto Swinburne Black. Zildjian going to have the Bob for the next fight as well, so that's going to be a big threat to Coronet as well. Just anything that's doing high damage that's auto-targeting you is just not nice to be around as Tracer. So well-placed Bob, absolutely dangerous, but here comes the mine.
Proximity mines clearing a lot of space for Avoiding Weird Champs to get to work. Smash Crab almost on top of the Dragon Blade again. Udon goes in deep, but the turret taking out the Genji means no Dragon Blade coming in this fight. Bob now on the field by Zinjan. Sergeant gets the resurrection off. The Valkyrie and the Sambury enough to keep the Mercy in the fight. Great work by the support line from Avoiding Weird Champs, keeping everyone hale and hearty. Jack able to finish off with 2 kills. There's 90% on the clock. The Dragon Blade comes out, but there's no target threat for Smash Crab. Coronet.
Yeah, there's kind of a bit of a mess on the point. We now have the Molten Core coming out as RD Polarity looks to try and lock down this highly mobile Avoiding Weird Champs roster. This could be an opportunity here for them to bring it back, but the kills still overwhelmingly going through in favor of Avoiding Weird Champs.
Oh, those proximity mines are going to cover so much ground, stopping anyone from Swinburne Black making their way into the point. That will be that. Avoiding Weird Champs level up the series again in a quick 2-0 on Ilios. It is now even 2 maps apiece.
Yeah, this is really just a whole new wave of momentum. Sometimes that's all you need from a substitution. Like, adapt their playstyle. And Swinburne Black, they're just left wondering just what happened, because this was a very different series just a map ago. Everything was looking to be going their way, and then the rules have changed on them. Elko picking up 9 jump back kills during that game, just showing out a great performance on the Winston. They just needed to shake the rust off a bit in the first part of that first round, but once they got going, putting on an incredible performance there on everyone's favourite monkey.
That's probably the most one-sided map we've played in this set so far, and it took us 5 maps to get there. I can't help but draw comparisons to last week. We had a very similar circumstance where it was pretty even across most of the maps, but in the end, Swinburne Black dominated on that final control map, Busan, where they took it out 2-0. But they will get a map pick now. They have to pick a hybrid map. They've got the choice between Numbani and Eichenwald, and it looks like they're going to be picking Eichenwald.
Fantastic, and perhaps not surprising, because of the two, it's definitely the Farah map, so you want to play it to your strengths here. Not at all surprising there. The question will be, now that we're away from the very brawly game mode that is Control, can Avoiding Weird Champ continue to show this sort of composition, or are they going to need to adapt once again? Because there are things that work on Control that don't work on Escort or Hybrid. And this sort of playstyle, it's a lot harder to execute on the payload maps than it is on Control.
That it is. We'll see Swinburne coming out on the attack first. Avoiding Weird Champs retaining the defensive spot. I'll be interested to see if they change up change up their strategy. The introduction of Zach has so far proved to be a great boon to that team. It looks like it will continue with Jack on the off-tank role, Alco taking up the mantle of main tank on the Orisa. So definitely a lot of changes coming through from that one substitution for Avoiding.
Yeah, definitely. But even so, we're seeing a different look out of them here. We're seeing them bunker up now. Something that they haven't actually done before. I think this is their first Orisa. Is that correct?
I'm just checking through my notes. I believe it. Yes, it is their first Orisa. No, Intrinsic had never played it before. Neither had Alco.
Yeah, so this will be their first time on the Orisa. It's a very different look again. And we will be seeing Smash Crab over on the Echo as well. I don't think we've seen much from Smash Crab on the Echo yet, so not sure if it is going to be... I think they've been on it before, but I don't think we saw enough to make a judgment call on how well they played the hero. It's definitely a difficult hero to play to its full potential without a big hero pool. We'll see how it goes as these teams come head-to-head. Coronet's back on the Ash, and RD Polarity, of course, in the skies on that Farah.
Oh, poor Dimple Whisker. Smash Crab swooping in to finish off the Moira there, but Dimple Whisker copped an accretion to the face and was immediately swooped on by Smash Crab.
Yeah, it's a good opening play there from Smash Crab. In the end, they lose their life for it, so there's going to be a bit of an opportunity here for Swinburne Black to come surging forwards if they can get their stuff in gear in time. That said, Echo does get back quickly and has done just that, so the window of opportunity has closed.
Well, no ultimates currently online for either team, but Udon very close to the amplification matrix, as is Dimple closely behind with the Coalescence. We'll see which is the first available and invested in this fight. There's a little rotation. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Jack's been doing really well. These accretion blasts almost caught out Coronet after landing another one on them there again after the tanks had already rotated. So definitely someone to be feared, but RD Polarity has got the overkill on the Zildjian.
That's the direct counter, the barrage available, the Zarya bubble there in support. Only one direct kill, but it is the Orisa. That's the big shield gone. Just Jack with that tiny little Sigma shield. The Gravitic Flux on the point, picks up one, slaps Subred down to the ground, but then the kill is not going to be followed up on. Jack taken out of the fight, as is Udon. The resurrection onto Coronet will seal the deal. Swinburne Black making their presence felt on point A as they pick up and unlock the cart.
I like what we're seeing here from Avoiding Weird Champ. They're already swapping over their tanks. They're not going to try and run bunker on second. Smash Crab getting caught out though by Filezek, who's taken the high ground very quickly. Doesn't mean they're going to be set back, but I like the adaptation straight over onto the dive tanks for the second point. Says they're going to be playing for the point strengths, just not looking to passively have their opponent force them to change. And we'll see how this goes, because they've now got a lot of mobility over their opposing lineups here.
Still had to be careful of the Earthshatter. Filezek hunting Jack down, swinging the hammer, paying the kill. Sergeant flying around with the Valkyrie, getting busy in people's faces. In the end, it wears off. They're forced back down to the ground for the moment. Lots of healing coming out from this Mercy. This tank's going very low, so that Valkyrie is going to be charging up so quick. In the meantime, Swinburne Black getting to work. RD Polarity taken out of the fight, but Subred is there doing all the damage. You don't really need your Farah. Throws in the Gravitational Surge, doesn't quite catch anyone. You may want that back. No Shadow now from Filezek. Doesn't catch anyone. Smash Crab dancing around on this Zarya duplicate. May not be able to build up to the Gravitational Surge. Udon doing what they can to keep this dupe Zarya in the fight. No! Smash Crab just loses the duplicate form as it times out before the Gravitational Surge is available.
But that's okay, they've done what they needed to do there, and they blocked the Shatter with their bubble, so still worked out. Coronet picks up Smash Crab though. That is, well, it's quickly undone by Sergeant, but still an early advantage here. Seeing a very strange back and forth fight here. Now the Primal comes out, and that is a Reinhardt off the map. That is what they needed.
And Dimple-Whiskers Coalescence may still be worth it. Bob invested by Coronet. Swimmer Black still thinks this fight is winnable, and Smash Crab out of the fight yet again. They might be onto something. RD Polarity has a barrage, forced to back off in the face of the self-destruct over the top of Subred. Picks off Zildjian. So Swinburne Black still in this fight. They're not quite willing to give it up. The members of the defense on the bridge have to be careful. They don't cop a concussion blast into the reservoir. But I mean, a rocket to the face is just as good. Udon removed. And now Swinburne Black has the entryway to the second point. Locked down the defense. Going to be hard pressed getting out to contest.
Yeah, Jack's got an angle to get through, but loses the mech, isn't able to get to the payload with it intact. And there goes RD Polarity, dropping the barrage into the room. That will secure the second point there. And we're probably going to see Elko and Jack swap up the tanks again. Yeah, sure enough, it's going to be Reinhardt and then Sigma. So very heavy, aggressive double shield composition coming through. But with how I was seeing Jack landing accretions before, I do like what I'm seeing there. Either way, we continue to see a lot of momentum coming through from Swinburne Black, and RD Polarity's gone over to the Junkrat. That's a lot of shield breaking potential.
And both tank ultimates ready and waiting in the wings for Swinburne Black. Filezek's Earthshatter goes down and lays 2 down to the ground. They push forward with that. Subred is so charged right now, 100% charged. This Zarya is doing max damage, throws in the Gravitational Surge as Bob is taken out of the fight, but the grab is good. Swinburne Black chewing through the members of the defense. The cart pushing its way around the final turn of the map. Swinburne Black in a position to finish the map.
Yeah, they're looking really good here to finish this one up. We are going to see one last attempt at a defense coming through. Elko getting aggressive, getting onto this payload, but gets stuck in a trap there and gets charged into a wall. Very awkward position to be in. Polarity.
Gonna hurt. Smash Crab, the Nano Blade is out in force. Slices through RD Polarity, hunting down Filezek. The Bio Grenade not quite enough. Oh yeah, Filezek, okay, did go down there and gets resurrected. So Swinburne Black still wants to contest this car. It's almost home, just 4 meters away from the end point. Zildjian going down. The maze gone. That's such a vital defensive tool. It's now Alco on the cart, suffering through these hammer swings from Filezek. Subred will finish that kill off. Smash Crab is down. The Wrecking Ball and the Mercy, the only defenders remaining on the cart right now, proving to be tricky to hunt down. Oh no, Sergeant gets killed in the middle of the Valkyrie. Udon down, no support. Just Zildjian out in the May. The Cryo Freeze and the wall buying a little bit more time. But as is Alco, the tire come out, finishing off Smash Crab. Wrecking Ball, just to clean up now, Pyronius. It looks like Swinburne Black is going to cap this unless a miracle comes out from Avoiding Weird Champs.
Yeah, it looked like maybe off the back of that blade, the defense would be able to reinforce, but the res onto Filezek ends up being the end of the story, and every moment thereafter it is just a large, angry German man swinging a hammer on a payload, and anyone who comes near it pays the ultimate price. Just until they could get Filesec off that thing, they were not being able to reassert it. And the rest of the team was there to support it as well. We're seeing a lot of damage coming in to a scrambling defense. There was an opening there, an opportunity that I thought they'd snowball through on, but in the end, Swinburne Black, they shut the door on that one, and they get the payload across the line, 1:12 in the clock.
Phenomenal stuff from Swinburne Black. They want to take a win on this map will put them on match. Well, actually, I just realized any team that wins this map will go on to match points. So they're staking their claim on the title. They're not content with getting revenge on Interstellar last week. They want their revenge on Avoiding Weird Champs this week, and they're well placed to do it. All up to Avoiding Weird Champs attack now. If it stalls out here, Swinburne Black will not only be on match point, they'll have momentum on their sides, having taken the previous two maps quite convincingly.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because Avoiding Weird Chaps, like, the momentum should have been against them coming into Ilios, and then they absolutely trounced the Ilios, so they might be the sort of roster that isn't affected by momentum. We've seen some interesting adaptations out of them, but this really does look like Swinburne Black's home, and an early kill onto Udon from RD Polarity only goes that little bit further to emphasize that as well. This is not going to be an easy thing to walk into.
Udon just stepped out of spawn, immediately removed, swaps across to the Ana. That's how brutal that kill was. No, I'm just not playing Brigade. It's just not happening.
Well, I imagine the Brig is also there in case Coronet's on Tracer, and the moment they see that Coronet's on the Ash, they realize...
Nice dive. Files like immediately removed from the fight. Polarity has to back up around the light tower. Sorry, around the clock tower. And Jack gets in there, gets busy, picks up Ray Atticus down, but Jack doing all the work required. That will see Avoiding Weird Champs take the first point, lickety split.
Yeah, I really like what we've been seeing from Jack. They've got some interesting heroes, but they seem to be very good on them, and it just comes down to being able to play around what Jack can bring to the table. When they're able to play the game they want to play, Avoiding Weird Champs look incredibly strong.
What a grapple. So Jack is just swinging around the castle, being a nuisance right now. Hunts down Coronet. That's just assassinated the Ash there.
Yeah, look at this pressure that they're putting on. Now they've knocked Filesec out.
And killed Spread with just the fall damage. Oh, it might be off the back into the pit. Jack is making waves for this team. This substitution has been the best of the night so far. Coronet survives this one, but Jack, being a nuisance in the backline, has the proximity mines. They could lock down this defensive choke point if they so desired at any time.
Looks like that might be... No, they're not even committing it into there. They're just looking to back away, get healed up. Now the blade coming out.
Smash Crab slicing through 3 inside the room, you madman! Oh, this defense of Swinburne Black is falling apart before their eyes.
Yeah, you can tell things are getting desperate. Subred's gone over to the Wrecking Ball just to try and deal with some of the things. Smash Crab just making his way out through the gate there. It's going to be one last opportunity for a contest here, but it's not going to be great for them. They're a little too spread out, and they're playing into ultimates.
They've got some tools to work with. Filesec though loses, goes down with the Earthshatter. The barrage over the top from RD Polarity is shut down. Filesec resurrected back in the fight. The coalescence from Dimple Whisker, an attempt to forestall any further advance of this cart. The numbers are there, and they're getting the kills back. So Swinburne Black. Bob on the field removing Dimple Whisker. Filesec down. Jack doing absolute bonkers work on this Wrecking Ball, swinging around the cart, dismantling the members of the defense. Coronet is down. I think that's twice Jack has assassinated the Ash. Udon gets the kill onto Subred, and the cart pushes itself home.
Yeah, 5 minutes on the clock coming into this final section, but this ultra-mobile playstyle that Avoiding Weird Champs have been running here does start to run into difficulties once you get into these tight corridors of the castle. So unless they've got the opportunity here to get through a momentum, and an early kill onto RD Polarity is big for that, but it's not guaranteed here. If they can get stopped up here, there's going to be a big opportunity for Swinburne to make this one work.
The proximity mines invested Jack, clearing space for Alco to do work, who pounces onto Smash Crab, holding onto the Dragon Blade, not even needing to investigate. May be just wanting to sit in the spawn door, swinging at anyone who dares come out to defend the cart.
This is looking so good.
Nano Boost is out. Here we go. The Nano Blade online slices through Atticus. Slices through Coronet. Jack finally goes down, but the rest of Avoiding Weird Champs there to defend the honor of their Wrecking Ball as the cart pushes home in a monster time back. 3 minutes 57 on the clock for Avoiding Weird Champs.
This is it's such a difficult playstyle to play against because they are just absolutely fragging out here. It's a very high risk, high reward style. But they're working so well together. They're setting up these kills. The comms must be absolutely on point. And you see things like that. The Udon lands another big biotic grenade, and then Alco is there jumping in on top of it on the Winston. Those players have no choice but to go back to spawn. And it's just all of these micro plays, 2 and 3 players working together, and they're working in squads. They're setting up little kill teams. It's not 6 people working towards one thing. It's little groups of 2 and 3 working together to pick apart the members of Swinburne Black. And it is so difficult to fight against. It is so hard to pull off, but they are absolutely doing it, and it is incredible.
Well, so it looks like the new kids on the block are making waves against the old veterans of Swinburne Black, and it's quite surprising, especially given, we talked about it before, how these players, not only new team, but perhaps new even to Overwatch, not really having the time invested, and maybe that's playing to their advantage. They're not beholden by the supposed meta that Swinburne Black is more likely to hold on to, given they've been around longer.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, we've been seeing them pulling out heroes and compositions that just they're not widely run, and as a result, Swinburne Black, they just don't have the preparation to deal with these sorts of engagements. It's absolutely working at the moment in Avoiding Weird Champs' favor. I was a little worried that maybe they didn't have the flexibility, but we've seen them completely adapt their playstyle following the substitution.
Falza gets in there, swinging the hammer, goes low, forced to fall back, but being healed up. The support line is there in spades for Swinburne Black. The sent Coronet into the back line on the Sombra, looking for a choice hack target, not quite finding anything as yet.
Oh,
Like around the side, but Falza going down is going to hurt. 20 seconds left on the clock. You need your Reinhardt now more than ever, as Polarity took a nap on the ground, well protected by the rest of the team, going to get back into the fight, so close to the barrage, and that might be what makes all the difference in this next fight. 10 seconds left on the clock. Polarity looking for an opportunity. Smash grab with the Deadeye, forcing everyone back. Takes Coronet out of the fight. No one can penetrate through. Oh, Swinburne didn't touch the points. Shades of King's Row from the semi-final for Swinburne. They don't touch the points.
Oh, that's such a big blow as well. It's now going to be almost the full 4 minutes starting bank to just get that first third. Avoiding Weird Champ in a great position to try and come into our 7th map at that match point there. I mean, we've seen Swinburne Black put up some incredible defenses, but I don't know if we can see a repeat of that performance here. Certainly they'd want to, but
Well, they're 50-50 on the massive defenses. Kings Road, they almost defended a 4-minute time bank on point A. On Anubis, they did defend that 5-minute time bank, but it was point B, which is more defensible. So history working in Avoiding Weird Champs' favor for the moment. We'll see if Swinburne can cast off the shackles of history, which they're going to have to do anyway if they want to overcome Avoiding Weird Champs, who got one over on them in the regular season.
yeah, absolutely. It's all coming down to the wire here. But this Avoiding Weird Champs roster, they're looking rejuvenated. They are looking 100% on the ball here. So this is the make or break moment. I think if Avoiding Weird Champ, if they're able to get this one in here really quickly and easily, this is where things come undone, and I don't know if Swinburne Black are able to recover from it.
It's make or break for them. This could decide their fate in the entire match. If it goes the way of Avoiding Weird Champs, enough to break morale. RD Polarity plugging in those rockets over the top. The first 2 kills of the fight going Swinburne's way, as does the third. The resurrection onto Zul'Jan will allow the Pharaoh to get away, but really won't contribute anything. RD Polarity nails one onto Sergeant, not able to get the follow-out rocket. the attacking pharmacy duo forced to back away for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a close one here. It's a good start for the members here at Swinburne Black, and Coronet's getting a lot of progress towards the Bob, which can be an absolutely key anti-momentum ultimate here. So you want to see that coming up a line. An early kill onto Udon there is absolutely big for the defense as well.
Indeed, a couple of Swinburne Black players going low, Dimple going low, Atticus with their Valkyrie online, leaves Polarity behind, who's hunted down by Zildjian. The barrage over the top, clearing up the point. The Bob on the field from Coronet, cleaning up two, bringing them back into the fight. Subred, now resurrected, available. That will see Swinburne Black holding strong, but they need their reinforcements back.
Yeah, this is looking pretty dicey. There's a lot of momentum available for the attackers, a lot of speed rather, but with some late spawns coming through, notably Sergeant only just spawning now, does mean the defense is going to be fully in place here before the next attack comes in. They've made it almost halfway through this time bank. So far, so good. They have to worry about the Blade coming up in this next fight. Nano Blade is going to be online. You can imagine that's going to jump straight on top of Coronet.
Sergeant's early Valkyrie to open up the fight. Here comes the Dragon Blade. Unleashed, takes the Mercy out of the fight, dashes through Coronet. Polarity gets one back, but it's too little, too late. Avoiding Weird Champs all over this point. The proximity mines clearing off the remaining defenders. Avoiding Weird Champs moving on to match point. They are one map away from taking out the series and taking home the prize.
Yeah, it's a really tight one here. Swinburne Black, they're stuck the cracks. Like I was saying a couple of maps ago that the cracks were appearing in Avoiding Weird Champs armor, but they patched those up and then some. Now it's really looking like Swinburne Black, they're struggling to deal with this. They just... Smash Crab was bad enough to deal with on his own without the tank support that he's now getting from Elko and Jack. This Genji dive with tank support is absolutely having them undone here, and unless they can come up with something, I don't know what the answer will be. It looks like we'll be heading over to Escort for what is potentially our final map, and Swinburne Black, they're looking to take this to Havana. Not a popular map, but a great one for shutting down the sort of mobility play we're seeing from Avoiding Weird Champ.
Indeed, so Havana, a nice sunny map, hopefully. For Swinburne, it will be a sunny day, a sunny map for them indeed, and they can take us to a map 8, which is what we'll go to if they level up the series here at 3-0.
I think just with that in mind, there's all the players taking a quick moment to readjust themselves, and we might do something similar here as well.
All right, I'll fill in the gap.
My thanks.
So we've seen some fantastic play out of both of these teams. I'm particularly impressed not only by the way Jack has been playing on the Wrecking Ball. I love seeing a great Wrecking Ball, you know, shades of aiming right there. But what's really impressive is the turnaround in the team we've seen now that Jack has come in, and that's almost a carry-worthy performance. The pieces were there for Avoiding Weird Champs, but Jack coming back in. Sorry, Jack being brought into the squad, it's like we're seeing a whole new Avoiding Weird Champs come out. I'm curious as to whether Jack was a consistent part of the team during the regular season, or maybe it's an adaptation for the final. You know, unless we go back in time and somehow magically look at those matches, we won't find out. But across the board, great play. Standout Genji play by Smash Crab. They're making it work, and for a team, it can be quite difficult to get your composition working if you've got players who only play certain heroes and that aren't necessarily in the meta, but then you feel forced to play the meta. It's nice to see that Avoiding Weird Champs aren't beholden to that. Even Swinburne to some degree, they're allowing Polarity free reign on that far end. If you've got a player like Polarity, who is that good on the far, why not let them shine? I mean, we're seeing that. We're seeing Smash Crab do the same on the Genji. Jack on the Wrecking Ball of all things. Even if you were running standard dive, you wouldn't necessarily see a Wrecking Ball. You'd see the Diva, which Jack also has brought out. So it's not just a case of Jack doesn't want to play Diva. It's Jack is phenomenal at Wrecking Ball, so why not put him on that hero, let him go to town, and at the end of the day, it's paying dividends for Avoiding Weird Champs. As I talk to myself, look. I've been thinking we've been missing stuff in the intro to all these streams. I'd like to thank Zero Aim for producing. He's been producing most of the season. We've had help in week 1 from S-Dogger-Man. We had Abby producing the first match of the night, and Peronius and I, we just sit here, we blab, but it's the producers that are doing all the work, observing, making sure the stream is there for you to watch. So thanks to Zero Aim for your continued amazing efforts. And Peronius, we're still waiting on the players to return, but that's okay. We can talk about Havana. We didn't quite see that full hold situation I was hoping for with a draw on Rialto. I mean, I still don't expect to see it here realistically. But Havana is a map where there is a possibility of a close hold, which can burn a lot of time off that point A defense.
Absolutely. I mean, Havana has long been a map that's been decided in the first point. It's pretty rare to ever see it go further. It's just the power of that defensive high ground and the long sight lines there just makes it really nasty point to attack. And it really does, a lot of the time, come down to who can push further on point A. So definitely wouldn't be surprised to see it be, if not the full zero movement hold, a full hold from both teams there, and it just comes down to who can get the payload the furthest in this first point. That said, because of its defensive nature, it doesn't lend itself well to the really dynamic playstyle we've been seeing from the members of Avoiding Weird Champ here. The more conventional style that Swinburne Black has been playing should show them a good advantage on this map. We'll see if that does continue to be the case, or if Avoiding Weird Champs are able to absolutely upset my expectations and blitz through this one as easily as they have some of the other defenses. But Swinburne Black, they're really good on the defense. They've got good defensive positions, and this is a map that is really easy to play those sorts of defensive positions from as well. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we do see ourselves going through to the 8th map and a penultimate tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think the inside of it's not a foundry, that's King's Row, it's a brewery, right?
Yeah, it's a brewery.
You illuminated us last week, yes. The key to this map will be the inside phase.
Technically, it'd be a distillery because it'd be rum.
Oh,
yes, I know.
Enough. Well, I guess that's why you're on colour. You know the detail. I'm just the play-by-play who yells during fights. Anyway, the key will be that distillery. RD Polarity on the far will have free reign of the skies on the 1st and 3rd points. Once we get inside, that's where the differences will come. We'll have to likely see a swap. Maybe Polarity is insane and happy to run Farah indoors. But that's really where we'll see this map come alive. See if Avoiding Weird Champs is able to hold Swinburne inside. They don't let them outside of the distillery onto the 3rd point. That will be the key. That means they only have to finish the first 2 points, and they are looking well positioned to do just that.
Definitely. We'll be heading in now shortly, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on both these teams. I mean, anyone getting even into the distillery is going to be a great position because, as I said, this first point, such a difficult position to crack open at all. So we'll see how it comes, how it goes, how it gets undone here. Once again, it will be the members of Avoiding Weird Champ on defense for the first position, and sure enough, they are going to be locking in to that Orisa-based bunker defense. There's really no other way to play it, so not too surprising there.
And not that it's going to happen, but Coronet hovering over that Widowmaker. I wouldn't mind seeing that here on the first point, especially given that Avoiding Weird Champs isn't playing a Widowmaker of their own. The longest range hero is the Ashe, so Coronet would have the advantage in that duel. And we do typically see some Widowmakers on the first point. There's long sight lines heading down to heading up to that first corner.
Yeah, definitely. There's the opportunities there, but playing Widow into the double sniper is very difficult, and especially the highly mobile Sigma shield can very easily shut down Widow positioning. I think Coronet is sticking with it so far, but might really struggle to find the angles they're looking for. Meanwhile, you've got Zildjian on the Ashe just able to sort of free fire down. She's only really able to fire at the Reinhardt, but she is basically getting free damage at the moment.
Well, how much is that tank in the window? Because there's two shields up there on the top level. There's not much available for Coronet, as you said. Still sticking with the Widow for the moment. The cart's pushed up to the first corner, and both teams backing off while they assess their options.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think maybe you try and maybe catch. Said maybe a lot there. Maybe you try and catch Smash Crab rather. Out from the cover, but Smash Crab is not interested in playing in that street at all. Oh, as I say that, Dash is in there, but...
Tries to take down Subred, gets punished for their hubris. Atticus traded out. It's going to favour the attackers. They're going to get back a little bit faster, and those long sight lines means Atticus can make an impact almost immediately as they leave spawn. Falzek putting pressure on Alco, but is forced back towards the cart. The Orisa plugging damage into the Reinhardt shield.
They need to stop up that payload, though. They need to... at the moment, we're just seeing Falzek free pushing it, and did they forget he was there?
It's huge! Jack is down, as is Zildjian. Smash Crab has a Dragon Blade at the ready, but not going to get the opportunity to use it. Swinburne Black finishing off point A in style.
That was such a weird fight. I feel like the members of Avoiding Weird Champs forgot that Falzek was there.
No, the Dragon Blade went out, but the cart pushed home. Oh no, you maybe go for the spawn camp, but you got a feel for Avoiding Weird Champs.
Yeah, that's two fights now that just haven't gone their way. And I think at this point maybe we're starting to see the effects of fatigue on these players, because these are mistakes that we would not have been seeing earlier in the matchup. I know I picked Swinburne Black to win this map, but I was not expecting Avoiding Weird Champ to be dropping the ball here. They need to get this back under control. And the problem is, when you start making these slip-up mistakes, they just lead to more slip-up mistakes because of the psychological effect.
So that was a nice dynamite from Polarity. Hit so many members that it managed to assassinate Udon. The Bob available, but not quite invested yet. Zildjian's Bob is the first to make an appearance. Swinburne Black forced back for the moment, but they've got lots to work with. Coronet's infrasight highlighting exactly where the defenders are. The Griddick Flux from Jack picks up a couple.
Ooh, Coronet.
And Coronet, that is filthy. Eventually gets stopped by Smash Crab, but the Reign of Terror was enough. Maybe not. Smash Crab, a couple of headshots, picking up Polarity on the back of that. Well, have another Dragon Blade almost at the ready.
Yeah, Smash Crab's putting in a good performance, but they lost both of their supports to the Widowmaker at the start of that fight, which means that ultimately they have to back off there. Now we're seeing the aggression come back through, Avoiding Weird Champs committing in hard, and maybe they can win this one out.
Oh, Smash Crab going after Coronet hard, forces the Immortality field out just to save the Widowmaker's life, but the Dragon Blade denied. Falzek finishing off the Genji. Coronet back in the fight. Alco falling afoul of that Widow's kiss, and Polarity finishing up 2 kills. This cart is going to continue pushing forward.
Yeah, they've got a pretty good chokehold on this payload. Coronet's really locking down these sightlines quite effectively. They've been really good on the Widowmaker. Atticus under a lot of pressure there, though, having to back off. The peel is there. The team keeps him alive. Smash Crab has gone down in the meantime, so...
They traded out for Falzek. Smash Crab back in the fight. Nice Bio Grenade hits both the supports for Swinburne Black. Dimplewitz get eliminated from the fight. Atticus is so low, but Coronet bringing it back off the back of that great grab from Subred. The cart pushing home. In the end, Jack will not be enough to stop it. B is secure for Swinburne Black with 3 minutes 20 still remaining in the time bank.
Yeah, Coronet's really putting on a great show on this Widowmaker, just showing how flexible they are. They're dangerous on so many heroes. We saw a whole different playstyle coming out just to shut down their Tracer. Now they're going over to the Widowmaker, showing that they're just as deadly there. And really so much pressure being put onto the members of Avoiding Weird Champ here, who are struggling to get purchase on this payload.
Well, Bob and Valkyrie opening the start of that fight for the defense. They trade out a Bob for a Reinhardt. That's always going to favor the defense there. As the support line gone for Swinburne Black. RD Polarity finds one. Okay, so a couple of trades going back and forth. The DPS of Swinburne Black making an impact, but it might not be enough. We'll grant them a little bit of space to continue pushing the cart forward.
Yeah, that payload temporarily stalled out here now. Avoiding Weird Champs. They're able to put the pressure off briefly, but Falzek's going to be back. It's going to get the payload moving forwards again. And again, there's not a lot of room on that bridge. Not a lot of defensive positions that keep them safe from that Widowmaker.
Oh, I'll go.
For angles.
A Bob on the field for Polarity, who doesn't even need the Bob. Going to finish off the kills on their own with their regular gun. The Dynamite taking Sergeant out of the fight, and Smashcrab holding on to this Dragon Blade but not getting an opportunity to use it.
Yeah, there's going to be one last desperate chance for a recontest here. So the Nano Blade on that should be a good opportunity. They will commit it on there, but the Trams is there to answer it.
It is indeed. The Zari Bubble kept Polarity alive long enough for Atticus to come in with the trans. Eventually, Dimple Whisker falls afoul of the blade, and Falzek goes down to Zach. Sorry, goes down to Jack. The Gravitic Flux finishing of Atticus. Of course, the Transcendence invested to stop the Dragon Blade means it wasn't available to keep the Zenyatta alive through the Grav Flux.
Yeah, so in the end, they're able to stop that one up. A minute left on the clock means 2 more successful defenses are required for Avoiding Weird Champ. They want to prevent this completion. Honestly, given how this map tends to go, they're already looking at a very nasty push on the return side. And Coronet getting opening kills. There's Falzek as well. This should be it from Swinburne Black.
This defense blown wide open. Swinburne Black marching into that opening. The car is pushing forward towards its home. 40 seconds left on the clock, but Coronet finding Zildjian. Atticus trade it out, but the kills all showing up red in the kill feed. Infrasight online. Swinburne's going to know exactly where this defender's coming from. Udon under so much pressure. The bio grenade forced him to be invested on themselves just to keep the Ana in the fight. Meanwhile, Falzek swinging away on the cart, Jack out of the fight, as is Udon. Subred eventually hunting down the Ana Immortality field, keeping everyone alive. The cart finishes, 13 seconds left on the clock. Unlucky for some, but not for Swinburne Black.
Yeah, it's a fantastic position to be in if you are Swinburne Black. I mean, as I said, getting any completion on this map is already an incredible ask. The fact that they've got a completion with some time in the bank means that they're in a great position for this one. This is such a difficult map to attack on. And Avoiding Weird Champ, they're going to have to be playing into a newly re-energized Swinburne Black here as well. Let's see what they've got left in their bag of tricks here, because, as I was saying, this map is often decided by who can push further in the first point. It's a really nasty position to be in, having to get the full map completion.
It is indeed, and of course, Swinburne Black, if they are able to hold Avoiding Weird Champs at any point in this map, will send us to a final decisive map 8. Which will be an escort map, so chance of draw very low. But right now, Avoiding Weird Champs, so Swinburne Black, doing what they can to hold on, keep themselves in this match. They don't want to lose out on their share of that $500 prize pool provided by My Republic.
Absolutely. It's all coming down to the wire here. If they can manage to do this one and close it out here, they'll be able to go home with their heads held high. But Swinburne Black looking to drive it all the way through to Oasis. Coronet's back on that Widowmaker as well. Was so effective on their attack phase there. And, well, the members of Avoiding Weird Champ
sleep.
Double shield.
Oh, Coronet hunted down off the back of a fantastic sleep from Udon Jack, finishing the job. I was about to say Coronet had all the sightlines with no shields in play for the attacking team, but well, they will get an opportunity to come back. Falzek takes out Alco, immediately resurrected is the Winston, and Falzek pounced upon by the tank line of Avoiding Weird Champs. Great start by the attacking team. The tank's making all the space they need.
Yeah,
Really-
they're working so well together. Just you see the pressure coming through, the biotic grenades landing, and the two tanks pouncing on these targets.
Oh, Alco! Oh, please stop, Swinburne. You know, they're just students, mate.
Well,
Just
honestly, yeah, this is like Avoiding Weird Champ. I expected them to struggle to get up the road. They have not been stopped yet. So maybe I've called them out a little too early. Counted them out a little too early because they are absolutely tearing through this map so far. We'll see if that continues as we make our way into the distillery.
You've been conditioned by the meta. You see this Wrecking Ball Winston, you go, nah, there's no way this can work. The Nanoblade invested, Smash Crab slicing their way through the Immortality Field, following up with 3 extra kills, finding Coronet on top of those big vats. And Avoiding Weird Champ, they'll get most of the distillery for free off the back of that.
Absolutely, what a great execution there. And they're still hunting for that Reinhardt. They're not giving it up. Look at all the space that's been bought. Coronet's gone back over to the Tracer. Will actually get the kill onto Elko, but Smash Crab will clean them up, and the res is there as well.
So the contest will come through, but it will be at a player disadvantage for Swinburne Black. Transcendence out there for Atticus, the Immortality Field online as well, in case anyone's out of Transcendence range. Nice bio grenade onto Deep Whisker, leaves the leaves the Baptiste vulnerable. Proximity mines around the cart from Jack. Coronet runs into those. Falzek swinging the hammers, taking out half of the attacking team right now. Still alive, but only on a sliver of health. Alco finished that one off. Bob on the cart, stalling out, buying a little bit of time.
Might be enough.
And Alco's gone, and Jack's finding it hard to escape from the Bob. Of course, those auto lock-on arm cannons are enough to get everyone from the defense back into the fight.
Yeah, the Bob ends up being exactly the tool needed to buy some time. The defenders from Swinburne Black will now be able to reinforce this position. And so you've got a payload stopped up at the end of point B on an escort map, usually one of the better defensive positions out there. That said, with how the Avoiding Weird Champ lineup plays, of how well they execute onto people, the slightest opening and Udon goes down early.
What a pulse ball. Coronet was waiting in the wings for the attacking hit to come through. The Resurrection invested, but now it's offline for the next 30 seconds. Any remaining kills will be permanent. Jack is going to have to respawn from spawn. Wrecking Ball, they will make their way back fairly quickly, but you don't want to lose any more members of your team in the process. So you're losing Zildjian is going to hurt so much. Now they've got to wait for the Ash to come back. That's another 10 seconds burnt off the time bank. Swinburne Black, that re-engage paying dividends right now. They're still holding on to the distillery.
Yeah, this is interesting too, because this is not really the team comp they want to be playing. Subred's over on the Wrecking Ball. They're basically come back on Desperation Speed Heroes in some part. But they're absolutely making it work, and it's really a testament to how well they go. Here comes the Blade, though, and these have been absolutely devastating.
Oh, who needs the Dragon Blade when you've got Jack pile driving down onto Atticus? Finishes up RD Polarity. Smash Crab ends the Dragon Blade with no kills, but the damage is already done. Filezek taken down. Just like that, Avoiding Weird Champs get back on top of the payload. They've secured the distillery. Is there a hero play coming from Coronet? We'll see. 99% to the pulse ball. Has it at the ready. Forced to use the recall just to get away from the fight. Throws the pulse ball on the ground. Oh no, Zildjian walks over the top of it. The Resurrection bringing the Ash back into the fight, but it's bought enough time for Atticus to get in with the Transcendence. Polarity is back. Clicking heads, gets removed from the fight. Smash Crab hunting down, and the proximity mines on the cart from both teams, making the approach treacherous, but it will be Alco's Primal Rage proving the deciding factor in the end. Removes 2 from the fight, has the cart secured as it pushes home. Just a little bit of stall left from the Wrecking Ball if we're able to finish it off.
Yeah, that should be able to be cleaned up before more reinforcements are coming through. Everyone's spawning a little too far away, and they're not even trying to get back in here. They're looking to try and stop this one up. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Coronet immediately deleting Smash Crab with the Widow back into the big open sight lines. And here it's going to be even harder to get a successful dive onto the Widow with that castle position, especially of how far forward Filezek is playing. this could be where they try and slow it down. It looks like Zildjian's actually going to go over the Widow.
Yeah, wholesale changes.
Get rid of that. Yeah, they need something that can get on Coronet, and they know they can't dive at this distance.
And not only that, they brought 2 shields to the fight to Swinburne's 1, so if you're playing along at home, that's... Avoiding Weirdchamps 2, Swinburne Black 1, but that's 2 kills for Smash Crab just from the dashes. The blade itself finally finishes off Dimple Whisker. That is the opening. They need to keep pushing this cart forward. They're not too worried about Coronet if it's just Coronet left.
Exactly. I mean, you can have as many shields as you want, but that Genji blade doesn't care about any of them. And as a result, we're going to be seeing them surging forwards here. There's going to be a lot of pressure on here now because there's not a lot of tools for the members of Swinburne Black to try and stop this one. There'll be a lot on Filezek to try and turn this fight around. He's done it before. It's a great opening from RD Polarity to try and make it happen, but Smash Crab's still running havoc around.
That Genji causing havoc in the backline, as you say. Coronet looking for an opening. Filezek swinging away. Built up the Earth Shadow. That was a great fire strike. Put up the last 5%. The tanks for Avoiding Weirdchamps take a dive off the side. They know this attack is done for, and they've got 1 opportunity left.
Oh, this is so tight. This could go either way. This is such an incredibly close matchup. I figured once Swinburne Black had broken through the first point, that was it. But absolutely, these teams do not disappoint. We now have the showdown at the end of Havana here. Either of these teams could come through this next fight in a good position.
Oh, Coronet a little slow on the grapple. Takes a bit of damage, gets healed up. Filezek's still sitting on top of this Earth Shatter. Smash Crab looks around the side. Nice sleep on the Reinhardt, immediately woken up. And the Earth Shatter goes down. It just hits Zildjian, but it's enough to clear up the Ash. The remaining kills come through from Swinburne Black. They're going to hold the card here. They're sending us to an 8th and deciding map, Pyronius. 5 seconds left on the clock. No one around to touch the cart for Avoiding Weirdchamps. Swinburne Black staying in this match. We are going as far as humanly possible.
Yeah, I mean, this was predicted. This was predicted a long time ago. You suggested this might happen well back when we introduced these 2 teams. And here we are. We'll be going all the way to Oasis, map 8 in our best of 7. And just what an incredible evening of Overwatch this has been. We've seen so many adaptations coming through from these teams, and they are still trading back so closely.
I didn't think... Yeah, look, I said it as a joke. I mean, I don't expect it to go to A map. 7 maps, generally a good indication, but it just shows you how evenly matched this division was. We saw 3-2s across the board between Interstellar, Swinburne Black, and Avoiding Weirdchamps through the regular season. We saw a 3-2 in the semi-final between Swinburne Black and Interstellar, and then there was unprecedented map 8. A map 8 Pyronius. I did not expect this. I mean, like I said, I joked about it, but I still expected it to only be 7. I didn't think we'd actually have a draw.
Yeah, I mean, well, here we are. And, I mean, Oasis, this is an interesting one because it's always been there as this is the tiebreaker map if it gets there, but it's not part of the regular map pool. So you can't imagine these teams are focused on it too much in their scrims, in their preparation. Now, I mean, it is control. There's only so much difference between the various control maps, but it still is that one extra factor out there. And Oasis, it's an interesting one as well. University plays very differently to the other 2. I mean, all of them play quite differently because Garden's such a strong Pharah map. If Swinburne are able to get it to Gardens, you can anticipate RD Polarity taking over the skies. But City Centre, you can still play Pharah to the great effect, but it's not as strong. And then University, very hard one to be running the Pharah in there at all, tends to play for a more brawly, close quarters fight. It is so interesting to see what maps we get and how that affects how these teams take the fights, because it really could come down to which stages of Oasis we play ends up deciding who wins this series.
I feel like University will be where Swinburne shines. The other 2 maps a little more open, a little more enabling for that wrecking ball play we're seeing come through for Jack.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's actually going to be really like it. I want to say that again. I've got the bias towards Swinburne's more conventional comps, but RD Polarity's such a strong Farah. Any of the maps that aren't University, they can play that Farah really effectively. But the highly mobile comp that we're seeing the best results out of Avoiding Weird Champ doesn't work particularly well in University either. So, really, I mean, I'm expecting them to just surprise me again at this point because Avoiding Weird Champs, they need to pull out something new if they want to take home Oasis, and I absolutely expect them to do that to me.
They'll probably pull out goats. I mean, I don't know how they're going to fit it into the 2-2-2 lock, but it just might happen.
I mean,
you never know.
They could absolutely pull out like May Reaper goats. Like that was the Snoats comp that took over for goats, and it's not something they've done yet. So I'd definitely be taken by surprise if they did.
I would though, yes. So speaking of great players, Coronet showing up on the Widowmaker. I mean, we saw actually no, we didn't see a brief flash of it before in the match. I don't think we saw that last week either. So just let me go back. Coronet, no, didn't play their Widow at all. So a phenomenal hit scam player. I mean, we talk a lot about Polarity and the impact they're having on the team, but Coronet just sitting there backing it up with strong, consistent play. Electric on the Tracer on Rialto. Amazing on the Widow on Havana. I mean, they're making a case for the stronger DPS on the team, given the relative flexibility they've got.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, all predictions are almost out the window. If it wasn't for the fact that we predicted this, geez, we're smart. But nonetheless, it looks like we will be starting on City Centre, so we can imagine RD Polarity coming out on the Farah here, making use of these tight entrance choke points, trying to get that rocket damage in there. Will they be able to answer it? Will the members of Avoiding Weird Champ be able to make this one work? Because this map definitely plays out to the strength of the comp they've been running. There's a lot of ability for them to run that highly aggressive mobile composition. It's going to be both of these teams playing to their strengths here, which means that I think whoever takes this particular stage probably takes Oasis.
Indeed. I'll be curious to see if Swinburne Black sticks on this composition. We're seeing, the Winston Wrecking Ball coming out for them. Subred taking up the mantle of the ball. Jack not on that hero. On the Diva, the more standard, the traditional Tracer Genji dive.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're going in for that, and yet they've still got Sergeant on the Brig as well. So probably a sign of respect to Coronet's incredible Tracer play earlier. So far, these teams just sort of exchanging blows there, but Zildjian going down early to RD Polarity is a big go button for the members of Swinburne Black. Falzek getting very low, though.
Yeah, forced to back away to get healed up. In the meantime, Subred able to be a capable tank presence on the point, removing Sergeant, and with the two supports going down first for Avoiding Weird Champs, they're going to be hard-pressed to stick on the point. Though, as I say that, they have captured most of the point. So if you look at the point, it's really all red players all over the place. Swinburne taking control. You're going to count back that capture progress started. And start with the first cap. The Udon on the sidelines, not willing to let Coronet take the Tracer crown.
Yeah, late kill onto Subred is an opportunity here for the members of Avoiding Weird Champ to assert back in on this. It's exactly what they're going to do. It's pulled the res out of Atticus. Not the res, sorry. The Valkyrie out of Atticus. That's a recent change.
Nice Bio Grenade removes Coronet from the fight. Udon advances onto Atticus, removing the Mercy. So now the player advantage is with Avoiding Weird Champs. They haven't quite got the point flip back. Udon runs into a rocket from RD Polarity. Falzek coming back with Mercy out of the fight for Avoiding Weird Champs. Smash Crab's Dragon Blade only picks up Dimple Whisker, but it might be enough. Atticus, I don't believe is quite back yet. No, still making their way back. Now has RD Polarity supported, who has a barrage of their own. Yeah, the tank line from Swinburne Black making so much room, getting so much damage in. They won't hold on to the point in the end. Avoiding Weird Champs don't get anything from that nice recontest.
Yeah, looked like Avoiding Weird Champs should be able to have taken that one through. They just in the end, they're not as clean as they wanted to be. A late off the map to Sergeant as well. It's going to be more time off the clock there. We're heading into about 70 or 80% percentage by the time the next fight starts, and that's going to be one that they absolutely need to win here. They've got the ultimates to do it, but at the same time, Swinburne Black are not without tools on their own. A good barrage from RD Polarity could absolutely put the brakes on this one.
Self-destruct over the top, not finding any value, but the proximity mines from Subradar. Sergeant flies straight into them. The barrage coming in, removing Jack from the fight as the kill feed is all red right now. Swinburne's traditional colour, and why not? 90% and climbing for the university team.
Absolutely, they're in a great position here. I don't even know if there's Primal Rage coming out just to try and get the touch, not able to get there in time. And so with that good effort from Elko, but it was always going to be rough to even stay there if they'd got there. So in the end, it's 100-0 in favor of Swinburne Black here. That's looking pretty good for them, and even better news for them as we go over to Gardens, an incredible Pharah map, one of the best Pharah playgrounds in all of Overwatch. RD Polarity is no doubt overjoyed that this one has come up. This is going to be very rough for Avoiding Weird Champ. This is looking so good for Swinburne.
And both teams opting out of the dive. The Ryan Zarya composition coming in. Not something we often see on this map, but a welcome presence as Udon onto the Soldier 76. Running out of room to write down the number of characters Udon has played.
Yeah, the flexing across two different roles as well definitely adds to quite a lot onto that list. But I'm going to have Reinhardt's getting up in each other's faces again. Filesec getting very aggressive there, but the Biotic Grenade is there to put the brakes on that one.
And Smash Crab and Alco opening up the account for Avoiding Weird Champs. They get the first 2 kills of the fight. That should progress, slightly going the way of Swinburne Black, but it will not gain them anything as Avoiding Weird Champs take the first capture. They're staying in this match so far.
Absolutely, a good comeback from Avoiding Weird Champs there. Really good play. Again, another great Biotic Grenade being the opening, but an early kill onto Smash Crab is going to be a pretty big opening back as well, as Swinburne Black look to assert themselves back onto this point. Just trying to find the angles to get these shots in. They haven't been in a position to commit yet.
Speaking of angles, Polarity finding a tight angle to pick off Sergeant.
Oh, that's huge though!
Oh, Alco! 4 off the side! Swinburne Black was all ready to get in there and flip the point, but Alco denies that push with a phenomenal charge.
Yeah, just what incredible sense there. You know the fight is lost if things don't change. So you just, you commit yourself to the suicide charge there. You knock 4 people off the map. Incredible. And with that, they're going to be able to hold on to the point. Swinburne Black, no doubt, kicking themselves lining up like that.
Oh, that's player of the match right there for me. Polarity over the top with the barrage. Picks out 1. The follow-up takes Zildjian out of the fight. Swinburne Black finally making progress on the point, but 20% later than they would have liked.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they've got control, though, of the Gardens. It's a great position to be in. Any approach now is going to be harassed by these rockets from RD Polarity. It's going to be really, really painful, especially the Ana there is so vulnerable to this long-range rocket fire.
Polarity raining rockets down into the shield of Alco, is looking for an opportunity to use the Earth Shatter. The Dragon Blade and the Earth Shatter both invested. Doesn't quite get any value out. The ultimates are plenty on both sides. Smash Crab removing Dimple just as the Coalescence wears off. The Valkyrie still alive for Atticus, but the Mercy will have to come back down to ground soon as Coronet sent packing back to the spawn room. With Atticus going down, Swinburne Black may just have to give up the point. The Surf Subred has something to say about it, has a grab online, has 100% charge. You know, could get the job done on their own if they so required. Nice team up.
There it is.
For the fight. There's the Graviton Surge invested. There's not quite so much follow-up coming through just yet. Udon. Oh no, the self-attack buzzer takes 1 out, but in the end gets killed by Subred, who gets caught in the grab coming out from Jack. It's still back and forth on the point, but in the end, Swinburne Black will be the ones with the numbers still on the point as their percentage climbs up past what Avoiding Weird Champs already captured.
And that was such an interesting one there as well, because they commit the grab in, Jack commits not Jack. Subred commits the grabs, and then knowing RD Polarity can get a good angle on that. The tack fires that comes out to deny the Farah the Skies, they still manage to get through that one, whittle through it by the skin of their teeth. Now they're at 88%. This is potentially the last fight, and they've got 2 big DPS ultimates.
So here comes the barrage over the top from RD Polarity, picks up 3 Smash Crab, getting one back on the Coronet, but it is all said and done. Swinburne Black in control. They're taking the second point in an epic 8-match set. Swinburne Black are your Division 5 Ascent Season 4 champions.
What an incredible matchup. That was almost 3 solid hours of Overwatch. And in the end, Swinburne Black, they've come through, they went into the semi-finals as the underdog, they went into the division finals as the underdog, they've managed to do it, getting all the way through, and they stand crowned as the champions of Division 5, or Season 4 of Ascent. What an incredible performance it's been.
Well, we said at the start that was going to be the closest division coming in, and they have paid to those words. If any other division wants to lay claim to that title of closest division, you're going to have to go to 9 maps, folks, and you're going to be hard-pressed to do it. But in this match, we have so many standout players from both teams to talk about, Peronia. So I'd like to start at the top of the Swinburne lineup. Filezek, a solid tank presence up front constantly throughout all 8 maps.
Absolutely. Filezek was such an aggressive main tank, and it paid off so often. You see them getting up, getting the hammer through people, building up those shatters so quickly, and just really being the tip of the spear, creating so much space for the rest of the team, creating so much of a threat to divert attention and resources that could be spent otherwise from the members of Avoiding Weird Champ. Just an incredible player. Mostly played the Reinhardt. We saw them play the Winston a little bit. They look really good on the Winston as well. But again, very aggressive. And the aggressive aggro tank playstyle is one that I've always been fond of. Really like the way it looks. It's a joy to watch. And Filezek was absolutely a pleasure to watch there.
They were. Also a pleasure to watch with the DPS lineup from Swinburne. Polarity, we talked about it coming into the match on the Farah. They proved that those comments weren't in vain, annihilating the opposition with those barrages, and Coronet stepping up. You know, can be difficult sometimes living in the shadow of a DPS player like Polarity, but they showed up big time on the Tracer, carrying, or almost, no, definitely carrying Rialto, also carrying Havana. So really, you saw the maps that Coronet stepped up on were the ones that both went Swinburne's way, but they didn't necessarily go to extra time. It was maps that Swinburne completed and were able to hold on, and a lot of that was down to Coronet picking up the team and putting them on his back.
Yeah, absolutely. Coronet is probably my standout DPS player for Swinburne. RD Polarity played an incredible game, but Coronet was absolutely... When Coronet was firing on all cylinders, Coronet was the difference maker. And maybe they weren't consistent throughout the game just because of the nature of the changing of the heroes. It was only a couple of situations where they were able to play those big carry heroes. But when they were, and when they were in that big carry role, they were absolutely making it happen. So Coronet definitely went the full distance for me for Swinburne. I think, like, as fantastic as RD Polarity is, Coronet is the one that really should walk away with the high praise tonight.
They should. And finally for Swinburne, I'd like to highlight Atticus. I've got my notes here saying standout Zenyatta and on Ana. I mean, the bio grenades we were seeing out from them were insane. So constantly, members of Avoiding Weird Champs forced to fall back, you know, getting killed or just having to fall back, give up space because they couldn't get healed. It makes such a difference. And not only that, playing a wide range of support heroes on the Mercy, on the Zen, on the Ana, even on the Brig. I'm pretty sure it was Atticus who was the top eliminations for a Mercy player. So at least 2 final blows in the one battle.
Yeah, I mean, Atticus is fantastic. We saw it last week as well. Anytime Peel was needed, Atticus was right there, healing beam on the target, playing the Mercy. Tonight, we got to see them play some of the other heroes that they're good at as well, and just an incredible support player all round. The Peel is there, the utilities are being used. We're seeing just a high level of skill on all the support roles that they're locking in there. So definitely one to watch out for. Great performance coming through from Atticus.
There wasn't Avoiding Weird Champs. I don't want to go away without mentioning them. They put up such a great fight, not only in this match, but throughout the entire season. And the standout player for me was Jack. Not only were they a terror on that wrecking ball, the team just looked transformed once they came into the lineup.
Yeah, the difference was incredible. It's as if they had loaded... it's as if they'd loaded in some sort of afterburner when Jack came in. The whole playstyle changed, and they just became this hyper-aggressive, hyper-mobile team compositions where you have your Monkey and Wrecking Ball and Genji diving targets and just taking things apart. So just an incredible transformation there. And the whole team looking rejuvenized when you sub in a player is a sign of leadership there, that everyone is just doing that much better because you are there on the server. So what a great performance coming through from Jack.
Indeed, and for me, the other two players I want to highlight are both Zildjian and Udon. I don't think across the entire season we actually saw players playing on different roles within the same match, but they both did. Zildjian started out on the support, Udon on the DPS. They swapped partway through the match, and then they swapped again at the end. And it's such a boon having that kind of flexibility on your team that if you do want to run something a little different, you've got the players that can do that without having to sub them in and out and risk having someone come in a bit cold.
Absolutely. And I mean, we spoke a bit about incredible biotic grenades when we were talking about Atticus as well, but Udon was hitting so many good biotic grenades on the Ana. There was more than a few times where Filezek was in a world of trouble because a good bio grenade had landed on them and a couple of people near them. Then you've got Smash Crab putting the pressure up on the Genji trying to dash through. You've got Zildjian on the Ashe trying to land dynamite in there, and it just kept being really effective. And it's what a lot of their early success in those first couple of maps came off the back was some really good biotic grenades. So what an incredible performance there. I think really this could have gone either way. There's a couple of places that almost did, and all of these players should be really happy with their performance tonight.
I'm certainly happy with their performances, and I'm happy with the performance of everyone who played across tonight, and particularly the viewers. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. You got to see an epic showdown, and the action doesn't stop tonight. It's still tonight. Yeah, 4 minutes left, or at least, East Coast time. It's still tonight. Tomorrow night, Saturday the 27th of June, depending on your time zone, at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time is when we get underway with the Division 2 final between Kraken Academy and Firescale. If the statistics in that group are anything like the statistics in the Division 5, that match could go the whole way as well. And following that, at 9 p.m, we will see ADSL 2 Plus take on Power Anchors. That is a titanic showdown between contenders teams. It is not to be missed, and they will be both broadcast right here on the AOE Twitch channel.
Absolutely. So we look forward to all of you joining us again then. We'll be kicking things up to the next gear up. At the start of the cast, we said this was a tournament for Tier 3 and Tier 4 scenes, but at Division 1 finals, that's a Tier 2 final. That is two contenders teams fighting it out. So we are hitting Tier 2 Overwatch tomorrow night. Make sure you don't miss it. And from myself, Temporal, and all of the AOE team here, take care, and we'll see you real soon.
Yeah, what's up with it?